Welcome to the ship show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid predicaments. Ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery.
Hey. Always like that last part. Hey. I don't know. I can't sing for shit. Oh, Lady Miss. And of course, our friend on tonight with us. Yeah, man.
Hi.
Yeah, how are you?
I am doing well. I'm just so proud of the I've been using that program you told me about, and while I don't think I use it as well as you do, I just think that is so cool seeing Santa Claus about to smash the Grinch with a hammer.
Oh wow. Apparently it's working better for you than it does for me.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, when y'all see like the thumbnails I make, you're seeing maybe the 3rd or 4th like one I've attempted.
Oh, okay.
Because I missed something, and it was like a kitty cat reporting the news and outside, and it's outside, but it's like regular office buildings. I'm like, okay, outside in the Middle East, so the buildings look right. Like, oh, okay, but then something else is wrong. I'm like, fuck. So
yeah,
y'all see like 1% of the stuff I actually try to make with that.
Well, yeah, I've probably made 15 of these things, and so far I think I've used maybe 4 or 5 or 6 of them.
Right.
Because there's like this was the second one. The first one I tried to make actually was better, except that Santa Claus came out with one arm. So there's one.
It does that sometimes. Like I've got one, and it's got Netanyahu's got like 3 arms. That came out so funny. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, I
was trying to figure out how to say it. I'm like, Netanyahu conquers America, and it shows him with like flags, arms. But like he's holding like 3 flags with 3 arms, and I'm like, "Oh, son of a bitch!"
And welcome, Lachdanon.
Lachdanon, how are you?
Lachdanon.
Like Loch Ness monster, yeah.
The Loch Ness monster. Well, Nessie going to come get us.
You got to, don't add too much hairball. Lachdanon. Oh, I don't know if it's done correctly or not, but I swear to God, that's one of the things that actually annoys me about Outlander is when the people are either in the show or they're talking about it, and they seem like they're trying too hard in it, so they end up like, and I'm just like, you give about tree fitty. Darn you, Loch Ness monster. I fucking love that so much. Right. It makes me oddly happy in my spirit that he did that. That's fucking great. Biscuit. Well, goodness. Well, all right. So we're going to deviate ever slightly because there was something I realized I did want to talk about. And I just didn't add. So we'll do it now.
Okay, let's do that.
You guys still watch news? Yes, we do.
She does.
Well, you do too a little bit, don't you?
Not much. Honestly, other than what I do to research. So other than what I do to research whatever I'm talking about now, about the only news I look up is a friend of mine sent me a newsletter of it's called 1440. And
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's got a slightly right-wing bias, but not so bad that it makes me want to cringe.
Is the guy or an guy named Eric?
Maybe. I don't remember that because I didn't pay enough attention.
A dark-skinned fella and his wife.
I don't know.
Because 1440 sounds familiar, and I'm wondering if it's the guy that's on my Facebook.
Maybe. I mean,
because I met him like 2 years ago, so I've slept since then. Not great, but I have slept since then.
Right on. But I gloss through that. I don't really read it, but I just kind of glance through it every morning. And that's about
I send you stuff occasionally to look at.
Yes. I do look at the things that you send me. I try to look at most of the things that my friends send me. I've got to be honest. Some of the stuff that my liberal friends were sending me, I've gotten to where I watch about half of it.
Yeah,
And
so it's a little wild. Of course, the Republican side is kind of wild too.
it is. Well, that's been part of my journey here. And I don't mean to make this about me. This is your
Oh, no,
channel.
go ahead.
But
Sweet.
but like the stuff that my liberal friends have sent me sounds just like the hardcore crazy right-wing stuff I listened to 10 years ago, except it's on the left instead.
Right. Yeah. It's the same pattern,
Yes.
same beat, just like slightly different steps, but it's like it's there.
Like the one of the videos said that Trump's Truth Social is run by a Chinese death cult.
What the fuck?
Oh,
first off, that's silly. You know good and well he doesn't like immigrants enough for that.
No.
No kidding. I'm just being silly, y'all. Nobody's suing.
No, I know, and I'm not, and I'm not going to jump down your throat on your channel, but or on mine either. But
Right.
but no,
that's wild, though.
It's yeah, and to me that's like it sounds just like stuff Alex Jones used to say.
Hey, he was right about some stuff.
He was
weird.
He was, and for all I know,
he sounds like a crazy person when he talks about the chemicals in the water making the frogs gay. Turns out that we excrete our pharmaceuticals into the water, and it can actually have an odd effect on the animals that live in the water.
Right
so
on.
His delivery was fucking bizarre.
Yes, yeah, I got to tell you, if you really want a trip someday, and you don't want to use the illicit drugs, because anyway,
I'm not above it.
Well, I'm not. It's not so much that I'm above
mushrooms,
it.
They're natural.
I'm too broke. That, and I wouldn't know which mushroom to take. I'd get
yeah, that you would want. Golden Teacher would probably be a good one for that.
Well, there you go. But anyway, long and the short is the interview between Joe Rogan and Alex Jones is wild.
Well, hey, at least on the bright side, Joe Rogan doesn't yell at us.
Exactly.
He doesn't come off sounding crazy. He talks in a nice, calm voice. Like, did you know that the pharmaceuticals can get into the water and make the frogs skin? Then it sounds more sane.
Yeah. Jamie, why don't you look up how the pharmaceuticals are pouring chemicals into our water?
Right.
Meanwhile, me and
I feel like I'm
Musk are
encouraged
going
to
to get high. Yeah, exactly. And thank you, Lady Mist. Yeah, I kind of thought it was silly.
Sorry.
Hajimashita. Nice to meet you. Sorry that took a bit to get those characters right on. Konnichiwa. What's up, Daniel?
Yeah, the characters at the bottom is the Konnichiwa. And
Gotcha.
He says, oh yeah, it says arigato. He's got it translated next to it.
Domo,
I think it's like arigato. Or you say domo? I think it's probably like thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like short for thanks, I think. I don't know. I'm kind of rusty on that sort of thing because,
same here. I know maybe
I don't really have anyone to talk to about that sort of thing. Hello, Mr. Frosty. How are you? How's our favorite broccoli doing?
Frosty B. I hope Canada is doing well.
Hopefully it'll do better as soon as they get rid of Castro's son. Although, hopefully they'll find something better.
Please, God. Please.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous when our neighbors are acting crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the world's messed up when Canada is scaring you.
Right. Because they're supposed to be all like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you like some maple?" Now
they were always.
We're so sorry. We're going to seize your money and throw you in jail. Like,
yay!
Whoa! No maple syrup for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a maple Yahtzee. Like, no maple syrup for you.
That would make a really cool SNL skit. Trudeau and Trump having a talk, and Trudeau being a syrup Nazi, and Trump just I don't even know. Just have Trump be Trump. It'll be funny.
Well, unfortunately, the government decided to do that, kind of, though, sadly.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Don't confuse kindness with weakness. Not wrong. Not wrong.
All right. So the crazy shit I wanted to get into, and this is almost more for Curtis's benefit than everyone else, technically, because this is Oklahoma news. But I definitely want y'all to hear this shit. All right, so here, DHS, Child Services here, like y'all call it CPS in other places. I know, I love that groan. Yes, that groan. Anyway, so all of the U.S. Child Services is just out of fucking control. Well,
Yes.
here in Oklahoma, they've gotten extra, and you know, they got kids being taken out of their homes without warrants. I know, I've literally seen it happen.
Oh yeah, I have some personal experience with
Kids
this
are getting
stuff.
hurt in care. The courts are fudging fucking evidence. You name it, they're fucking doing it. I'm getting an amen in the crowd. Ooh. But
preach it, Moira. Sorry.
Yeah.
sorry.
But here up in Tulsa, well, not here, I'm in Oklahoma City, but here in Oklahoma, up in Tulsa, there's a district attorney named Krunzweller. And apparently, Mr. Stephen Krunzweller has decided that he is going to, or was deciding to, make things difficult for the women who are trying to get a petition signed. Now, here, if you've got everybody on your side, you can kind of drag child services in front of a grand jury. If your politicians are corrupt, like most of them are, hi, Bone, meow, meow.
Boom.
You basically have to try to get, like, it depends on the amount of people in a county, but for Oklahoma City, you definitely need the max. You need 5,000 signatures for the petition to drag child services in front of a grand jury.
Wow.
So these women were working on doing that. And Mr. Krunzweller, district attorney, mind you, decided to intimidate the women. He went over there and bugging them. And actually, one of the ladies, wrong thing, decided to call him out on it. So, and Tulsa official decided to get silly with it as well. Oh. So if you guys check out Facebook, page 6, Oklahoma, you'll see a lot of what's going on. So, but actually, so apparently some of the people have decided to file for a restraining order against District Attorney Krunzweller for harassing these women, apparently making one of the ladies cry, which is crazy. And apparently, supposedly he had told, because I wasn't there on this one, supposedly he had told one of the people who were going to sign that it was a felony to sign. And I don't know what's going on. It's
what?
Crazy. Right. And so Tulsa official, the official Facebook of Tulsa, like, what the fuck? I have a feeling one of his friends is running this page. He is doing what he is allowed to do as a citizen. And to some degree, remember, he is a public figure to some degree, and he is a district attorney for the city. So, I mean, you're a private citizen, there is a limit there where your influence starts to come into play. So,
right.
He goes, you go to a public place and con people into signatures. Well, he can be in a public place and speak as well. Funny how everyone has rights until you exercise them. That's pretty wild.
Well,
page 6. No, it's a crime to intimidate, and Krunzweller was audio recorded telling someone it was a felony to sign the petition. Is this Krunzweller? I was wondering. Did you create a Facebook page just to defend Krunzweller?
Oh, wow.
Krunzweller already has a conflict of interest, and he has created another. Do you agree that he has harassed volunteers across from the courthouse and made one of them cry? Conning people into signing to investigate child abuse. Clearly, someone has done something wrong or to not want an investigation. I fucking agree. Because if you're a district attorney, now, theoretically, you're supposed to be on the side of good, you know?
Yes.
What justice. About the old-fashioned, if you've got nothing to hide, you should have nothing to worry about?
Right.
Well, Mr. Krunzweller is only a little more outspoken, apparently, than our Attorney General, Drummond. Because apparently he's also trying to cock block this investigation. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that it just gets fucking wild. Anyway, so I was thinking, and I had said something kind of snarky, and I'm surprised I haven't been called on it yet. And so I saw this going on, and so I copy and pasted this article that I'm about to show you, because I remember a couple of years ago, because I had met this guy in person when I was running for office, and he seemed all right. I mean, I felt he was a little sus, but then again, I had that automatic feeling when someone's a district attorney. So, like, I might have missed a flag there, but he seemed all right for the, 20 minutes I spoke to him. Anyway, but this is back in 2021. Anyway, people can get worse. So when I saw this article, I thought it was quite interesting. Tulsa County District Attorney's daughter found not guilty of stabbing her father.
What?
So this was on January of 2023. So this stabbing happened in 2022. And I was like, oh, shit. when I first saw it, I was like, oh, wow, it's weird to see somebody I've met in the news. A judge found Jennifer Krunzweller not guilty of stabbing her father, District Attorney Stephen Krunzweller. Let's see, she was found not guilty by reason of mental illness. Well, mental illness or not, I imagine you have to do something pretty exceptional to stab your dad, and especially if he's a district attorney. So I feel like he must have done something to push this girl over the edge. And you see that, and then you add on the fact that he's trying to cock block child abuse investigations against child services. I feel like, I'm not saying they're connected, but there might be a pattern of behavior with this guy.
Well, I don't know if you, I think you have. It's one of the reasons why I love to talk to you, but you notice that abusers like to stand with other abusers.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying he's like touching on her or nothing like that, but you know, like maybe he yelled at her a lot. Maybe, you know, maybe she's partially crazy because of him. I don't know. Because, I mean, I've had my moments, but I've never stabbed my dad or mom,
Right.
you know? Like, you got to be special pushed over the edge for that kind of shit. Because otherwise, how would you not pull strings and get her to a mental health facility before that? And let's see, there was. Oh, and then, of course, there's this from 2024 from September. So apparently he may have stepped in it a little bit and was trying to backtrack his shit. So there's something called the Survivors Act. Let me get down here so maybe it'll help explain it a little bit. This past year, the Survivors Act allows victims of domestic violence charged with a crime to request their sentence be lowered if they can prove abuse contributed to their offenses, which I think is wild. But basically, you might spend a little less time in jail than normal if you beat the shit out of your rapist, I guess. But whatever. Anyway, so let's see. The law may be used in trials or retroactively for survivors serving their sentences. A Tulsa district court form says defendants waive their right to raise the claim under the Oklahoma Survivors Act during the plea, later hearings, and if they're sentenced. And so let's see. The form prompted Oklahoma Appleseed Center for Law and Justice Director Colleen McCarty to accuse District Attorney Stephen Krunzweller of pressuring abuse survivors to give up their right to that law. Ain't that something?
It sounds about right.
Right. But Krunzweller said that in an interview with public radio that the form is meant to highlight if someone is in fact an abuse survivor. Well, so he's trying to kind of bounce around, make it sound bad. But
yeah.
Like, if he's trying to prevent a child abuse investigation, like, I again, like you said, stands with abusers. So I mean, there's a limit. I mean, one time it can be a misunderstanding, but we got like 3 articles here that just don't look fucking good for him.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, this guy is so what the fuck? I'm so glad I didn't vote for this guy. I mean, not that I could have. I live in Oklahoma County, so
right.
Vote for him. But still, I
hope I didn't vote for him, but I don't think I did because I lived in a different county. So.
Right. But yeah, so this guy is quite something else, it seems. They made a TikTok about it. But,
oh, nice.
Oh yeah. I'll show you this bit for everybody in the TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, y'all might want to go follow Page 6 Oklahoma just so you can keep up with.
I think I've seen that guy somewhere before. I don't know where. Probably on TV or something.
It's possible. Like he's like their little figurehead. Like he's the one that gets put in front of the cameras because he does really well with stuff, public speaking. Unlike me, who just stuttered my way through that. But
I hear you.
Yeah, but that's wild. Can you imagine to like try to like pressure people into not be able to like lower their sentence for fighting their abuser? Wow, that's wild. Like Santa ain't bringing that new shit.
Yeah, it has become part of our culture anymore. You're not supposed to be allowed to defend yourself. So.
Oh yeah, that starts really early. They actually condition you very early in school. Like if you remember being a kid in school and a kid picked on you, you did anything back, you're the one that escalated it. You're the one that got in trouble and you got sent to the office.
Well,
that's kind of how they do. Like
things were different
to the principal's office.
Things were different in my time. I mean,
you're not much older than me.
Yeah, but I guess it's because I went to a small school or something. But yeah, if someone was picking on you and you took care of it, as long as you didn't go too crazy, the teachers weren't going to even bother you. You know. Now, if you started it, that was different. And if you went too far,
not for me, because like early on, like the kids were like, they would be kind of subtle about it. Then they get a little more extra, like once you get to like junior high, And junior high, they had like a zero tolerance policy fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish you had a zero tolerance for bullies, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember getting in trouble and like for different shit. Like some kid would start some shit, like they throw something at me, I throw it back, and I'm the one that got in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well,
and you're like, oh, and the famous, oh, just
that.
ignore them. They just want to rise out. You ignore them and they'll go away. No, that's not how that works. They'll keep doing it.
It's really not.
And
It's
so,
really
yeah, they try to
not.
condition you early on for that kind of crap. They try to condition me that way too. And it worked for a little while.
Right.
Yeah, it takes a while to unlearn some bullshit, but
it does. You're not wrong.
Let's see. So let me close these down now that I got those.
Kunzweiler. It sounds like a barbarian or something.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Kunzweiler would ride on his horses and raid for cattle.
We write it down. Let's see. So this is wild. All right. Donald Trump Jr. calls for MAGA followers to make Republicans feel the pain until they fall in line. Yikes, that sounds creepy. I mean, we're going to read into it, but that headline, ooh, that gives me some ick. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Although I hope you'll forgive me for saying this, I believe about half of what I read in MSNBC anymore. But yeah,
that's why we're going to get into it, try to see exactly what it is that he said. But that headline, that headline's rough. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
The far-right organization Turning Point USA is hosting its annual America Fest this week in Phoenix. The keynote speakers at Thursday's kickoff homed in on a familiar target, fellow Republicans. Boy. I remember a couple of years ago, they always joked about how the Democrats ate each other alive. Like now it's like,
it happens. Yeah. On both. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're getting more and more alike than they realize, and it's weird to watch. To be clear, the Trump-friendly event was in typical TPUSA fashion, chock full of attacks on everything from civil rights to trans people to feminism. They do kind of get like that a little bit.
Do they?
I've heard them say some stuff, and I'm like, woo.
Gotcha.
They think everything's an agenda. I'm like, yikes. Yeah,
gotcha.
both parties seem to think there's a boogeyman around every corner and go crazy.
Yep, that's true.
But as Congress careened toward the government shutdown, fueled largely by divisions among Republicans over funding proposals, Trump allies Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, and the president-elect's oldest child, Donald Trump Jr., my TV just blinked out, there it is, made the point Thursday to bash conservatives they deem insufficiently loyal to the MAGA cause. Essentially, as my colleague Zishan Alim wrote, Elon Musk helped tank a bipartisan funding agreement that the House Speaker Mike Johnson helped arrange in favor of more conservative bill that ultimately failed to pass. And Johnson is enduring much of the blowback. I don't like Speaker Johnson. He's a fucking little weird. He's a little weirdo. There's something about this guy. I mean, the very first day he got in office, I didn't like him because I'm very cringy about anyone who pops up out of nowhere when the others were fighting about who was going to be Speaker of the House. He pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it is weird that he did pop out of nowhere.
And how weirdly certain people were to see him get in. Like as soon as he was in, you see like Nancy Pelosi like clapping like she's all happy. Even give him a pat on the shoulder as he walked by. I went, oh hell no! Right there, he's done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if Pelosi's happy about it,
it's probably not good. I forget his name. Carlson.
The
comedian.
Yeah.
What is it? Something Carlson. What is it?
Yeah, was it
George Carlin?
Yeah,
George Carlin once said that a bipartisan only means there's a bigger than usual conspiracy to fuck you over.
Exactly.
And it's absolutely true. Let's see. Bannon, for example, gave a meandering speech in which he portrayed Johnson as a meek tag-along, somebody who follows Trump everywhere while failing to enact the MAGA agenda. Like I do see him as kind of a weak type tag-along. I do.
Yeah, I guess I haven't listened to enough of Bannon, but I never got and I've listened to a lot.
Looks like he's going to die of alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, Rush Limbaugh wasn't a pretty boy, but
but he at least looked like he knew how to shave and bathe.
Exactly.
This
I
guy looks
never
like the
got
fat
the
guy that's
appeal.
always there as soon as the bar opens up and drinks himself half to death till nighttime. Like,
Right.
Steve Bannon looks rough. He goes to this part I don't get. I guess this is quoting what Bannon had said, but like to me it doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm having a stroke. He goes to UFC fights, right? He's on the plane. He's walking in the UFC fight, right? When Trump shows up at the UFC fights, it's like the Roman Coliseum. I mean, this thing explodes, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. He's there. He's at the Army Navy game, hanging out in the box. He's always around. He's down at Mar-a-Lago. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I felt like that was like a lot of weird things.
That is weird, and
yeah, it
I'm
made me
not
feel like
even
I'm having a
sure.
stroke.
Yeah.
Fuck. Then Bannon teed off on Johnson over his efforts to negotiate a government spending deal, asserting that there's nothing to negotiate. All is not well with MAGA world, clearly. Trump Jr. took to the stage shortly after and told the attendees a vast majority of Republicans are our foes, in addition to Democrats. Then he gave specific instructions for MAGA movement to inflict pain on the weakling, House Republicans who voted against the failed budget proposal endorsed by his father and Musk. Why the fuck is Musk even suggesting stuff? That dude, I mean, I'm not, being anti-immigrant or nothing, but he's literally just some rich guy from South Africa. Like, why the fuck is he even having a say in this? Apparently enough money will buy your way into politics.
One, he's buying his way into politics, but two, he's taking seriously this Doge thing, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I don't know. I obviously I'm in a different place when it comes to those people, so I actually get what they're saying.
Well, I mean, I kind of do, but it's weird. Like, I feel like Trump's opinion on the situation, it should be enough. I mean, like,
oh yeah, no,
I think
wrong.
Musk needs to stay in his lane. That's kind of where I'm at. You're a super rich guy. You got some social media influence. You make really terrible electric cars, but that's your lane, my guy. But like, this is like, it's weird to me, and it feels
and the other thing is, let's face it, I'm not going to say that Musk got him elected, but he was one of the
certainly didn't hinder it.
He was one of the things that pulled it in a different direction, and he probably just feels, all these rich people, this is not to excuse it, but a lot of these rich people are like, damn it, I'm going to get what I paid for. So I'm sure that's a part of what's going on there, for good or ill.
Right. So apparently Trump's son said, we need everyone to do what we did over the last few weeks. Call them out. Call their offices, put pressure on them, make them feel the pain. I think Joni Ernst learned this a bit the hard way. ETP, education through pain. It's a very simple concept. So yeah, with context, it makes a little more sense, but it's still it sounds like he's sicking followers on people.
MSNBC is trying to write it that way. They want you to be scared and worried and frightened. I know on Twitter, for what it's worth, Vivek Ramaswamy sent several tweets out harping about how the bills needed to not pass. And when one finally did pass, he was celebrating the fact that the bill that passed was about a tenth the size of the one that they had been trying to pass.
Well, the assholes in office were trying to give themselves a pay raise.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck them.
Exactly. No.
So, I mean, I get that. But I'm just not sure what else was in the bill. But they love to take a bill and put some stuff that's sneaky shit in there. And then when you don't pass it because of that sneaky shit, they'll be like, oh, he doesn't care about homeless people or this or that. The other stuff that's in the bill.
See, the Republicans are bad. They wouldn't vote for the bill. See?
Let's see. That's that jab at Senator Joni Ernst was a reference to the about-face the Iowa Republican made on Trump's selection of Pete Hegseth for defense secretary, going from criticizing Hegseth to being more supportive about facing political pressure. So apparently they bullied her into accepting the guy.
Gotcha.
I'm like, that's pretty cringe, I'd say. Carlson's winding rant was equally petulant, but arguably more disturbing. Oh yeah, because I have that up here. Yeah, I do have that part up here. So we can actually just jump right over to that part.
Okay.
Move it over here. So Tucker Carlson says that every GOP senator must support Tulsi Gabbard or they are an enemy of the United States. Wow, that's a heck of a no gray area situation.
That's true. Now, I love Tulsi Gabbard and I do want them to vote for her,
but I
but
don't like anyone trying to make me feel bullied into
Yeah, you, Moira, are a bad person because you don't, which I don't know if you do or not. I'm just saying.
I don't have a problem with her. She's one of the few people who's been in the news who isn't a fucking embarrassment to everybody.
Exactly.
So I got no problem with her. When I say like 98% of Washington has to go, she's like probably on that 2% list.
Yeah.
Like her and maybe Rand Paul, only because there is still hope for him because of his dad. He's a good influence. I think he's a salvageable person.
He did write a good book.
Oh, and Thomas Massey. Definitely. Thomas Massey.
I need to look into him.
Oh, he's a good guy. I like that man. I see. Fired Fox News host. They had to add he was fired.
Yep.
Damn. Tucker Carlson accused any Republican senator who votes against Tulsi Gabbard to lead the United States intelligence community of being an enemy of the country during a wild Thursday night speech. Carlson joined the likes of Steve Bannon and Donald Trump Jr. in addressing Turning Point USA. Why is there a cat climbing my screen door meowing? That is so distracting. Fucking cat. Ugh. Carlson, who recently sparked controversy for an interview with the far-left economist Jeffrey Sachs about Syria and Israel, has long been a defender of Gabbard. The former hard-left Democratic Congresswoman Donald Trump has nominated to be the director of the National Intelligence. Carlson told Sachs during an interview earlier this week that he can't understand why am I required to hate Assad. I actually get that.
I'm surprised, actually.
I am too. I am, but maybe he's trying to give it a slightly different look than Assad bad that the other politicians are doing.
I know I'm way more pro Tucker than you are, but having said that, I didn't expect that, and actually, I think that's cool that he said.
If it created a whirlwind, I guess I should be glad I don't have a huge following, man. I'd be getting crashed.
Oh, don't worry about it. We all just do the best we can.
It's okay. YouTube will keep me suppressed enough that.
You're not wrong.
It won't get unmanageable.
You're not wrong. Sadly, I wish you were in this case, but.
Oh, okay. Tulsi Gabbard went and met with Assad, and she's been attacked ever since. Has anyone ever explained why Americans should hate Assad? It's the same thing like they did with Hussein when they were like, weapons of mass destruction. Oh, he did this to his own people. I'm not entirely convinced that he did. I mean, he might have imprisoned some of his people. I mean, it is the Middle East. Like, everybody's throwing everybody in jail. But
what?
Like, I don't know if it's any worse than it was with anyone else.
Yeah. Well,
since when does America give a shit if someone who's like Muslim is killing other Muslims?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, honestly, like let's not pretend for 1 second that the U.S. government gives a shit if brown people are killing other brown people. Although he's a lot more white than that.
He really is. Yeah.
But nonetheless, let's see. Carlson told a crowd of young Trump supporters in Arizona she served in the U.S. military for 20 years. So, by the way, if she's a foreign agent, how exactly was she carrying a gun in the U.S. military? It's absurd, right? Although, I mean, technically one could argue that she became one after she was not in the military anymore. Technically, one could argue that. I'm not saying she is one. I'm just saying, things change in 20 years.
The thing that baffles me is that's become the typical Democrat thing. They're a Russian asset. And
it's the same kind of silliness, like
yes,
like when Israel was doing its thing, and they were saying that anything that doesn't support Israel is helping Hamas.
Yes,
It's the same thing. Or if you're winning an argument with somebody and they call you a racist,
yes.
it's throwing an extreme title on someone who may just not want anything to do with that silliness. So they start throwing around extreme words so they don't have that same power anymore.
Right.
Let's see. You know who is on which side by the reaction of Tulsi Gabbard? If they are a Republican senator who is voting against Tulsi Gabbard confirmation, then either it's either in the Intel Committee or the Open Senate. You have to know what person is not only my enemy as someone who's voted for change, for openness, for transparency, for an end to corruption, but for draining the swamp. I'll see. You know that person is an enemy of the United States, period. Except that, like, Trump's been kind of looking like he's been kind of flirting with the swamp a little bit. Remember how he was going to release the Kennedy assassination stuff? And then he said that his friend Mike Pompeo asked him not to do that.
Yeah.
And so, and he talked about Mike Pompeo being kind of an all right guy. And I'm like, what in the fuck is happening here? I mean, unless, of course, he's going to do some kind of rope-a-dope on us, and he's just saying that so he doesn't get shot before he gets in office. But somebody I was talking to, I think it might have been you, was hoping that's what he's planning to do. I don't know if that's what he's doing.
I have no idea, honestly.
But he's been adding some really bizarre fucking people to his cabinet.
Yeah.
Like that wrestler manager guy, McMahon. His wife is now in charge of education.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's definitely bizarre.
I think he's in charge of the Navy, who's never even been in the military. That was another strange one.
Right.
So who knows what's going to be next. All right, let's see. Oh yes, this silliness. Musk rallied against a congressional spending bill. Much of what he spread was misinformation. Well, that's what you say, but I don't know. We shall see. His spray on makeup it needs some work. But it does though. Like the corner, like the areas around his mouth are oddly pale. Like
that's not well applied.
Someone needs to blend that motherfucker. God dang, blend him.
Right.
President-elect Donald Trump's billionaire ally Elon Musk played a key role this week in killing a bipartisan funding proposal that would have prevented a government shutdown, rallying against the plan in a torrent of more than 100 Twitter posts that included multiple false claims. I don't know. Like, he's borderlining on being too much interfering into politics. I mean, he's entertaining on social media, but like, if he starts getting into politics, I'm like, Yeah. Trump has got himself a handful with Musk. John Mark Hansen, a professor of political science at the University of Chicago, said in an email, Trump's done this kind of thing before, blowing up a bill at the last minute. This time, though, it looks like he was afraid of Musk upstaging him. Now there's a new social media bully in town, pushing the champion social media bully around. Hansen said, we'll see what Musk's influence is when he runs up against reality, like when he proposes cutting off wasteful spending for other people, but not for NASA contracts for SpaceX. Oops. Oh, damn. Musk's objection to the 1,547-page omnibus bill includes misinformation about congressional salaries, federal funding, and public health preparedness, among other topics. See, I do wonder, like, what the misinformation about the congressional salaries are, because as far as I'm concerned, any raise at all is more than they deserve. That's kind of what I think. Let's see. Oh, my TV's glitched.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. It's back. It just went all dark and I can't see anything. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drop the. I don't think anybody's gonna want to sit through that many fucking pages.
Oh
just
no,
but just in case somebody does, because we're not doing that here. Because damn. Oof. Where am I? There we are. There we go. So if other people decide that's what they want to check out, they are welcome to do so. Let's get back up here real quick. He's a lawyer, maybe enough, right? Maybe she's a dependent on him for habits. Maybe. He stepped in it, and his backtracking on that shit was pretty... Yeah, that's a pretty bad thing to step in. He's talking about Kroonsweiler, because I'm way behind. Do you remember when the people represented by the representatives? Yeah, I heard about that. It was the good old days. Semi-good old days. Johnson is the guy in the sci-fi movies who somehow becomes president and nukes the world. You know what? I think Johnson is the guy in like horror movies who gets bit by the zombie but doesn't give anyone the courtesy of telling them, and so he ends up attacking his own people. He's that fucking guy. Or the person who causes someone else to fall so he can get away, but then he gets eaten later anyway. Yeah. Johnson is the definition of cretin. Yeah, that covers it. About, yeah. Pretty much that, yeah. Maybe. We don't out intelligence orcs to people then. Sorry, driving and listening. Right on. Government is addicted to taxing and spending. Giving to foreign countries. Meanwhile, see Palestine, South Carolina, government is addicted to selling us into. Yep, absolutely. I was at first, but you know, he kind of, I don't know. I think he was there to.
What has he done? What has he done that makes you not trust him more?
Sometimes it's just the vibe, you know. He made his money off big pharma for. Oh, that'll do it.
I'll have to look into that.
That's concerning enough, in my opinion. Yeah, he'll read it later. Yeah, that's a lot to read, so I don't expect anyone to do it right now. All right, so yeah, I feel like Musk should kind of stay in his lane a little bit. Like, it doesn't hurt to throw out your opinion now and then, but if you actually not single-handedly, but close to help shut down a bill, it's like, is that really your place to do that though? Like, it's kind of weird because, I mean, really, is anybody going to listen to Musk that is already listening to Trump? You know?
That's a good point.
So, seems like they're both just trying to be prima donnas and show off. It's a little weird. Although, I am glad the bill was shut down because our politicians don't need a money raise right now.
That's just it. I know what everyone's saying, but I humbly believe it was a good thing that this bill was shot down.
Yeah.
And I think
it's just who shut it down is their problem.
Yeah, I understand.
There was a lot of articles coming out at one time. I was getting overwhelmed. I'm like, wait, what happened and what was supposed to happen? So I had to kind of read it over a couple of times to try to, because they've been making a mess of it.
Right.
Let me close that down and that down. All right. So this guy. So I thought I was crazy the other night when I was talking to Curtis because it says the new leader, Al-Shara, declares end to Iranian project. And I'm like, who the fuck is Al-Shara? Because that is Al-Jani. And I was like, I know I'm not fucking crazy. I was like, no way. Apparently he's formally known as, I found another article that explained it, that I guess he's changed his name. I guess, I guess it's like a sign of him having a new beginning or some shit. And I was like,
okay.
So I thought I was nuts because I was like, when did the hell they switch them out? That's the same guy. I thought I was completely insane. But all right. So Syria's new leader, Al-Shara, has declared that the opposition's victory has set back Iran's regional project by 40 years. I don't see how you knocked it back 40 years, but okay. While pledging that Syria will no longer serve as a platform for destabilizing Arab states. I wasn't aware that Syria was actually doing that, but Iran's influence across the region has been massively scaled back in recent months following the October 7th, 2023 attack by Hamas against Israel, who fought back, taking out top leadership in both groups, attacking Iranian bases in Syria. But I don't know. Do we know for sure those actually not Syrian bases? But whatever. But also striking Iran. So, all right. Yeah. Let's see. Speaking from the presidential palace in Damascus, Al-Shara told Arabic language Al-Awsat newspaper that Syria had previously become a platform for Iran to control key Arab capitals, spread wars, and destabilize the Gulf with drugs like Captagon. Now, I kind of stopped here when I was reading it because I was like, what the fuck is Captagon? Because I'd never heard of this. Apparently, it's some sort of like methamphetamine type thing that I guess was originally created in Germany or something. And they quit selling it in like the 70s or 80s, but I guess somehow it made some kind of revival in the Middle East around 2006, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I had never heard of it. I figured it to be like one of the things they would have told us about. Whatever, telling them, hey, these people are selling drugs. That gets people's attention. Anyway, so I'll look at this and I'll come back to the Captagon bit. But by removing militias and closing Syria to Iranian influence, we served the region's interests, achieving what diplomacy and external pressure could not, with minimal losses. Minimal losses? We have no idea the body count down there. We have no idea how many people have been killed. They haven't reported that at all, which I find concerning as fuck. Because Israel themselves said they've already struck it like 300 times with missiles.
Wow.
So we don't know how many people are actually dead. We don't know how many militias. We don't know how many civilians. Like, I haven't really seen a count on that. They probably want to make this look clean and everything, so they're probably not going to tell us, but that is concerning because there's no way you didn't accidentally get somebody. Like,
right.
So I'm a little worried about that. The Syrian leader criticized previous attempts to rehabilitate Assad's regime, including its return to the Arab League, revealing that when Jordanian officials confronted the former government about Captagon exports, the response was that it would not stop unless sanctions were lifted, which I sort of get because, if you're sanctioned, you're broke as fuck, you got to sell some drugs to make ends meet. I'm not saying that sarcastically. I get that.
Yeah.
Well, interesting enough, apparently that kind of sent the other countries and Jordan and America right over the fucking edge. Because wait till y'all see this. So I went into this deep dive, everybody. And I didn't leave as many tabs open as I was using because it's a lot. So I wondered, like, how the hell they were able to make so much pills and drugs for this,
Right.
Well, it turns out they probably have the equipment because before all this fucking mess took off, turns out Syria was actually quite the headliner in the pharmaceutical companies. Apparently they were, before 2011, the Syrian pharmaceutical industry could boast of a distinguished position among the Arab nations. It was propelled by thriving private sectors that facilitated the provision of affordable services with acceptable quality. Nonetheless, the outbreak of violent conflict in 2011 inflicted severe devastation on the industry. I had no idea that Syria was like leading the Arab nations in pharmaceutical success. I had no fucking clue.
I had no idea either. It was news to me.
Right, I was surprised. So that explains. So I'm wondering if them going after Syria was also partially out of them being doing so good, because we all know how greedy big pharmaceutical companies are and how absolutely dangerous they can be. So with Syria coming out doing pretty good, apparently in 20 years leading up to 2011, they were went from being able to take care of 6% of their people to 90%.
Yeah.
And let's see. Apparently some of these got closed down. That is really not fucking cool. What the fuck happened? Yikes. All right. Well, apparently, and let me see if I can find it actually. Do I have it open on another page maybe? I do. I didn't close it down. I just had it in the wrong place because I'm an idiot. Hold on.
No.
All right. So 2010, July to September of 2010. Let's see. Syria was very poor, covering 6% of the national need. In less than 20 years, with the government support in terms of legal frame and strategic political engagement, the Syrian pharmaceutical industry was finally covered almost 90% of the national need. In terms of drugs exports in around 52 Arab countries, beyond covering the local market, and the main values of this hinge on the development consistent in exporting drugs. But also, they provided jobs for 17,000 Syrians, out of which 85% of them were women. So women were having, at least in this industry, had access to getting pretty decent jobs.
That's cool.
And then I wondered, around the same time, a little before the war started, it's always good to go check a few months or a couple of years before shit kicked off to see what led to it. I thought, well, you know what? Where was Israel in this? How were they doing? How are they competing? Well, let's see. This is October of 2010, as y'all can see. Israel was again ranked 6th out of the 19 Middle East and African markets surveyed by the Business Monitor International in its fourth quarter business environment rating. Israel scores strongly across the country, reward risk categories, blah, blah, blah. So apparently, here it is. This is trying to get me to subscribe.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't you love that?
Risky regulatory environment limits Israel's pharma market score. So Israel was like 6th, and Syria was like number 2, I think. And so they were like, economically, or at least pharmaceutical business-wise, were out whooping the dog shit because Israel was technically making more money, but that was because Syria was selling stuff at a cheaper price, which of course everybody likes their pharmaceuticals and medical to be cheaper. So they were doing pretty good hiring people and,
And we can't allow a cheap
cover the
drug
90%
market
of the national need.
Wow.
So they are doing it for cheaper. And of course, that's going to get you more customers. And it's wild how this happened right before their issue with Syria really kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
And they started accusing Syria of killing its own people, this and that. And then as they start attacking Syria for the last 14 years, then their pharmaceutical industry starts tanking and Israel starts increasing and getting better and making more.
Interesting.
Right? So I believe there can be more than one motive to attack.
Oh, yeah. But that doesn't hurt. Let's make more money in the drugs.
There's a shit ton of money to be made in that. And they want to be the best in electronics, surveillance, biometrics, pharmaceuticals. I mean, they want to lead the world at everything. So
right.
And this is from 2014. And I will just drop this in the chat. It'll make it a lot easier. I'm not going through all of it. But people were talking about how, in the 1980s, Syria began to invest heavily in the development of its industrial, pharmaceutical, and biotechnology sectors. In just 20 years, Syria's pharmaceutical industry grew from a very poor industrial base capable of supplying only 6% of the demand to a multi-million-dollar sector covering 90% of the domestic demand. And I know multi-million doesn't sound a lot when usually pharmaceuticals deal with multi-billion. But also realize that, the price of everything was cheaper. So they were taking care of more people and it was costing less than probably what we're dealing with.
Exactly.
So technically they would have their shit together and they started getting just torn up. And so allegations of an active bioweapons program. Anyway, you read through it and you find out they couldn't find any evidence that would indicate that was actually going on. Let's see.
Yeah.
See the
right
exact
there. Such claims are unsubstantiated.
Right. Syrian pharmaceutical companies produce a broad range of generic pharmaceuticals, including antibiotics, antifungals, and antivirals, which if y'all know anything about antivirals, those are expensive. And so that's a heck of a market to have, especially if you can sell it to people for cheaper. Let's see. These statistics are dramatically less impressive as of 2014, as Syria's pharmaceutical and other industry capabilities have been gravely harmed by the ongoing civil war. So a lot of this looks like a lot more than just, Assad bad. Assad was showing them up, making them look bad, and they just were not interested in having that. So to make it a little easier, I was like, is it true? In 2010, Syria held the second position in pharmaceutical production within the Arab world, meaning that it was considered the second largest producer of pharmaceuticals. So that doesn't give it that third world, shithole vibe that the news wanted to tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
It was employing a decent amount of women, so it wasn't just keeping them barefoot and in the kitchen, And so let me go back to this photo here. And so apparently, I was wondering how he could have, what the deal is with the drug thing. And he said, well, lift the sanctions. Well, part of what hurt their fucking feelings, apparently, is they succeeded in this too. because so not because of the men targeted, but because the British estimated that Syria's Captagon trade was worth 57 billion with a B, and putting my pinky up to the corner of my mouth.
$1 billion.
Right?
Sorry.
And that's just their Captagon trade. That's just that methamphetamine they have. That's not including everything else they do. Just the Captagon by itself completely whooped the dog shit out of Jordan's $45 billion entire gross domestic product. Like all the stuff that Syria is putting out was still 10 billion less than Captagon's trade by itself in Syria. So jealousy, money, a lot, have a lot to do with it.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like all this money and all this everything. Yeah, because remember that they said the pharmaceutical company was bringing hundreds of millions. Remember?
Yes.
So when they put the sanctions on them and ruined the pharmaceutical industry, they made even more on the drug trade than they did with the pharmaceuticals after the sanctions were put on them. And like I said, just the Captagon alone was more than all of Jordan's gross domestic product. Ooh, that sounds like some jealousy setting in. And that was March of 2023 before things really kicked off over there.
Right.
So, So that's something to consider and look at because I find that all quite interesting. I will also, did I put this already in the link in the chat?
You put something in there, but I don't see
I don't
it
think
right
it was
now.
this one though. Well, if it was, then they don't have to click on it again. That's fine. Yeah, so like a drug and bug rod, right? So yeah, y'all can check out that. It's crazy. Let's see. Let me go back to a little thing here. All right. So so I thought that was pretty fucking impressive. And I found this by accident because I was, it started with me going, what the fuck is Captagon? And then I'm like, how the hell are they, are they really making those drugs? And if so, how are they able to mass produce so much? Turns out they had all the equipment to do so. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I guess that makes sense. And that's how I found another, what could be very much a motive for attacking another country because they were technically doing better and then did even better than their neighbor while under sanctions, which probably made them very salty. So.
Yeah, sadly, all too often money ends up being at the heart of it.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I figured I'd give everybody that to think about. So, next article. God, this is some fucking mean girl shit right here. Sara Netanyahu, the wife of the prime minister, said to have ordered a protest against the neighbors whose pilot's son died in the war. That sounds so fucking trashy. Can you imagine going harassing some woman whose son died for your cause? God damn, that's fucked.
Does it say what Karen reason she had for doing this?
Oh, it does, but just that I just wanted to just take in that headline for a second. That's so fucked up. Whew. Text messages published Thursday purport to show that Sara Netanyahu, the wife of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, was instrumental in the efforts to combat those perceived as, my TV glitched out. Hold on. There we go. Perceived as enemies of the family, going so far as to instruct her husband's secretary to send activists of his Likud party to hurl obscenities at their neighbors, the parents of a fallen military pilot who were active in demonstrations against the premier. Yeah, you know what? I'm already kind of anti-war, but I would be even more anti-war if my kid was sent to die for your cause. I would be I'd want that shit to stop, Yeah. So, I mean, if anyone has a right to be anti-war, it's certainly a mother who's lost her child to that war, Right. And so this cunt right here, I mean, a real see you next Tuesday. I mean, like, apparently, got her followers or her husband's followers to go and hurl obscenities at the neighbors. Like, that's so fucked. You're such an awful bitch. Oh, the correspondence of Benjamin Netanyahu's late aide, Hani Balawais, published by Channel 12 investigative program Yuvda, I think, indicates that the premier's wife and son were active in the effort to dig up dirt on his political rivals, intimidate key actors in his corruption trial, and sic law enforcement on protesters against him, while seeking the promotion of the police officers who complied with the request.
Well, we know where Washington's getting their game plans at now.
Oh yeah, they give each other tips all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh my God. They're whacking each other off. Anyway, but yeah, so apparently Yair Netanyahu was in on this. Like, that doesn't surprise me. That little man, he was at Mar-a-Lago like a few weeks ago, and I was just like, really? This fucker right here. God almighty. The Netanyahus were apparently aware of the potential damage of Belawis's correspondence with the prime minister's wife, and others were into the fall, and others were it to fall into the wrong hands. People present at the Belawis's 2023 Shiva, the Jewish 7-day mourning period, were cited in the TV report as saying that when Yair Netanyahu, the prime minister's son, came to pay his respects, he was especially concerned over the whereabouts of Belawis's phone. It was unclear if Yair Netanyahu retrieved the phone. So apparently, while they are mourning someone's death during that 7-day period, this fucking kid, Netanyahu's son, goes there and tries to get the dead man's phone. What a tacky bunch of trash. Oh my God. That is some fucking white trash bullshit right there. Like, damn. Wow, these people have no soul. Like,
all that's missing is the little kid playing Deliverance on the banjo. And
yeah, it is exceptionally bad. Like, that is so trashy. The correspondence appeared to contradict Yair Netanyahu's denial in 2020 that the prime minister's family had nothing to do with the controversial demonstration outside the home of the neighbors, and Doran Barkush, whose son, helicopter pilot Captain Tom Barkush, was killed in 2006 Second Lebanon War. Protesters spearheaded the Likud activist Orly Lev harangued the bereaved family for hosting anti-government activists at their Caesarean home. Lev denied at the time that she had received instruction from the premier's office and told Yuvda she never knew Belawase, a lie, according to text messages aired by the program. Well, I'm glad they aired that, because that is some trashy fucking behavior. That's insane. Fucking harassing a woman who's lost her son. Like I said, I'm not a fan. I mean, I feel like they shouldn't have been in Lebanon in the first place. But still, the woman lost her son, and y'all are harassing this woman. That is so
let the dead be honored. Crap.
That's madness. Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife and that horrible son of theirs. Jesus. Actually, I think that's his stepmom, because I think Yair's mom is his first wife, I think. Point nonetheless, they're all fucking trash. They're all terrible. Like, oof, I would be so unhappy if I had a son like him. Oof. Oh.
Well, you know, when your own newspaper is willing to report something like this, it's not like, maybe their media is like ours, but I doubt it.
I doubt it a little bit, because they're upset with Haaretz, another publication in Israel. They are super pissed with them, and so they've been basically putting sanctions against them and basically trying to prevent them from getting ad space and funding and sponsorship. And they're trying to get Haaretz shut down. I guess maybe they're going to shut down Times of Israel next. They're just going to get rid of all publications that speak the truth until there's none left.
That sounds like a capital idea.
I'm sure that's what they're heading for. I
love
swear to God, I'm
censorship.
going to throw a drink or a cigarette butt or a ketchup packet or whatever I have at the next person in person, so I can do it. Because Israel's the only democracy in the Middle East. No, maybe it once was, but not now. They're silencing people. They're harassing parents. They're warning their children. I mean, they're fucking monsters over there right now. Well, at least the government, anyway.
Yeah, the government, right.
I figured I'd clarify that. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of seen
I'm like,
but I get it. I do.
Yeah. I didn't want to put that out of context. Like, no,
it's like, we criticize the American government.
Oh, yeah.
But the American people, I mean, there are some terrible.
Oh, yeah, there's some shitbags, but there are a lot of people who aren't shitbags, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when I talk about America being fucked up, I generally, I probably mean the U.S. government.
Exactly. Exactly.
But, so if I criticize, and I feel like I should repeat this just in case, that when I talk shit about the Israeli government, I don't necessarily mean every single person there. But like, I'll talk shit about Republicans and Democrats here. It doesn't mean that I hate America. It doesn't mean that I
Right.
hate everybody who's either Democrat or Republican. I don't,
Right.
So I just want to clarify that. I have plenty of hate for my own country. I'm sure somewhere at some point I'm going to be dragged in front of a tribunal and they're going to be like, so you really thought it was okay if Russia hit DC? I'll be like, yeah. I didn't tell them to do it. I'm just saying I'd understand. So,
well, we had a little bit of a talk about that and about people who want Washington, D.C. to have statehood. And I am baffled by that because
they were never supposed to. Like, there were some things that weren't supposed to happen. They were
the founding fathers designed it that way.
I mean, obviously, D.C. is owned by somebody else, clearly.
Yeah, they are now.
Oh, yeah. I think they've been for at least 100 years. It's pretty fucked up over there.
Pretty close, yeah.
But yeah, I don't see the point. Because Washington, I believe, Washington, D.C. became a state because I think two different states, kind of donated the land to make it.
Yes.
And so, the promise of that was to never make it a state.
Yeah. Well, because it was part of the negotiation of the Constitution to begin with.
Right.
Virginia more or less insisted that we have the capital there, but there were a lot of people in the North who were like, no, hell no, we're going to have the capital up here in the North. So they finally put, Maryland donated some land, Virginia donated some land, and
that's the two I knew about. I didn't know if anyone else
on
did.
The border between the North and the South.
Right.
It was supposed to be not part of the states for very specific reasons.
Let's see. We can only make addictive drugs, right?
Exactly.
You can't spell without. That's technically true. You're not wrong. But yeah, and man, if that doesn't make me think of what was it, Dave Chappelle? He goes, the government doesn't want you hooked on your drugs. They want you hooked on their drugs.
Exactly.
And it's like, we don't want you to have cheaper Syrian drugs that might help you. We want you to have to pay more money. So
Well, Nancy Pelosi needs more money.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. The fact that people went along with her in torment, I know it's so fucking wrong,
isn't it?
Like, how can you get so caught up in things that you're like, hey, let's go harass this woman who had to bury her son? Like, how does that flow out of your mouth and it sound like a good idea? Some of these people are terrible. And I would say about anybody who did that, like, it doesn't matter like what country they're in, just that's clear. Like, anybody who does that is fun. And then trying to get some dude's phone during that 6 or 7 day morning time. Like, bro, come on now. That's fucked up. That's so extra. Oh, wow. God, that woman.
Yeah, he should have sent a Mossad agent to get it. I'm just teasing.
I'm surprised. There probably was some there just in case something went wrong. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Anyway, every once in a while, which it happens way too often, they always Israel, or like the propaganda machine in general, I should say, likes to toss up like stuff that has to do with the Middle East, specifically Israel, and artifacts that are found. And we had already covered that that one that was supposed to be from like the Ming Dynasty was probably not Ming Dynasty.
Right.
Well, now they're having an argument with themselves over there about the bone box of Jesus' brother discovered in Israel. Oh, I think this was found in like 2006 or something. I don't remember. No, 1976. I'm an idiot. Okay. So 2,000-year-old bone box etched with the name Jesus' brother discovered in Israel, now on display in the United States. The line box, or ossuary, features an inscription, James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus, written in Aramaic. Because these names correspond to the Jesus of Nazareth, brother and father, many speculate that the box once held the remains of James the Just, which I actually, when I was trying to go on a deep dive like a little while ago, try to figure out stuff about him. The first leader of the Christians in Jerusalem after the crucifixion. The burial box is currently on display at Pullman Yards in Atlanta as part of an exhibit featuring 350 historical items from the time of Jesus. The discovery, made in 1976, has been described as the most significant item from the time of Christ, according to the exhibit. However, like many biblical archaeologists find, the ossuary became embroiled in controversy shortly after its unveiling in 2002. which makes me kind of wonder about this part. Like, how often is biblical archaeologists like, you know, like many, like how often is that happening? Like, I kind of want to read that later to see how often they're
Right.
getting called out for some shit. In 2003, its owner, Oded Golan, was accused of forging the inscription, with experts alleging that he added the phrase "brother of Jesus" to the limestone. Ooh, that's tacky.
Yeah. If
Golan
he did that, that's tacky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah, obviously yeah. If he did, that's what I meant. Thank you for clarifying.
No. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Golan fought to clear his name, and after a 10-year trial, the Israeli antiquities collector was acquitted. Yet the mystery of the Jesus box endures. That would be the James box, I reckon. Although
Yeah,
Golan,
wouldn't it be? Yeah.
I know that poor guy. Even in death, his brothers overshadow him. No, I'm just kidding. But although Golan was cleared of all charges, the judge, he felt he had to say this. The judge stated that the verdict does not mean the inscription on the ossuary is authentic or that it was written 2,000 years ago. So he wanted that to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not enough evidence to find him guilty. But like, I don't know how one would like test that, except that I guess some of it would look more oxidized than others or something if it's a newer carving.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of. I don't know what it is, but there's probably
at some point,
test.
Oh, it says a chemical test. Well, we'd have to read into that, and I would have to be able to understand it. So
I'm sure you could.
I might. A little bit of Googling here and there, but
There
we
you go.
conducted several chemical tests, particularly on the inscription itself, which is the most critical element of the ossuary, Golan told Crosswalk Headlines this week. We provided the entire inscription. We proved the entire inscription was authentic. It was engraved several thousand years ago. I think after about 1,000 years, it's debatable if you can tell the difference between 1,000 or 2,000 years or something like this. I would guess, but I don't know.
Well, my question about it is, and not to challenge you, but just to challenge this, those were very common names. It doesn't necessarily prove.
Well, that's why it's a lot of hoopla about it, because it said James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus. That narrows it down a bit.
It does, but it's still like it would be basically like saying that this is John Smith, the son of Joe Smith and brother of Tom Smith. I mean, that's how common those names were.
Right.
That there were probably easily 1,000 people just at any given time that would fulfill that.
I feel like at some point we probably should like look it up, and I just don't know how to ask the question. Like,
it's
ask Google and be like, "Is there a way to tell if a carving is 1,000 years old or 2,000 years old?"
Right on.
Because at some point, like, it's dried out, it's oxidized. Like, I think it gets to about as far as it's going to go with that. Excuse me. All right. If authentic, the ossuary could be the oldest physical evidence of Jesus. During the 1st century, Jews laid their dead in caves, later collecting the bones to place them in ossuaries. The bones' authenticity is further questioned by some theologians who believe that Mary remained a virgin her entire life, suggesting the ossuary may be a forgery. Well, yeah, but I feel like the movie Dogma kind of covered that. Do you really think Joseph's going to stay married if he ain't getting some?
It would be tough.
Right?
I don't know if I'm going to say impossible, but
I think people have a hard time imagining the mother of Jesus, might actually enjoy a little carnal knowledge with her husband.
Right.
Yeah, God forbid.
Anyway. Well, yeah, exactly.
The Bible mentions Jesus' brother several times: James, Jude, Simon, and Joseph. I guess.
I think
James'
so.
name appearing always first, implying that he is the eldest among them. I'm assuming after Jesus was born.
Right.
Additionally, several biblical passages suggest that James and his brothers did not initially believe Jesus was the Son of God. I can see that because, like I've seen how siblings act. They'd be like, "What do you mean you're the Son of God? You peed the bed till you were 9, motherfucker. There's no way." Like, they were fucking giving him some kind of a wedgie and picking on him. Like, there's no way. Goodness.
So I guess that's the inscription.
I guess to me that doesn't look like Aramaic. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on Aramaic, but it's kind of. Let me go look.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's go see what that's supposed to look like. Okay. Well, Syrian Aramaic.
Maybe.
How many Aramaics are there? Shit. There's a Syrian Aramaic? Hand-drawn Aramaic alphabet. So, all right. Does that look like that though? Wait, let's close that down. We don't want that. It looks like an M-A-P and like a half-finished T or something. They don't really have anything that looks like an M.
Right.
Do they have something that looks kind of like an A? Yes, they do. They have a Gimel, apparently. So,
There
okay.
you go.
That looks like a P. Do we have
Yeah.
we do have one of those. Okay. I can't even
Yeah,
tell
there's some of them that are so.
This looks like one of those like Hebrew. That looks like that Hebrew thing that's supposed to be nun, like N-U-N. Like, do we have something that looks similar to that? Oh yeah, here we go. We got Het. Yeah, that looks like the nun. Okay, so some of these do line up. I do like to check these occasionally.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you'll say, "Oh, this is like ancient Syrian or something," and I'll look at the thing and compare it, and I'll be like, "I don't see anything that fucking
doesn't
looks
look
like
anything
that."
like it. Right.
So this looks like someone has my handwriting. The poor bastard. It looks like the shit
I resemble that remark.
Right. I hear you, brother. But okay, so some of it does seem to match. I mean, it's still terrible handwriting, like, good lord. But like,
he wouldn't carve out he'd just say it.
Right. And it looked like this is a weird mark, like, like that looks, I don't know, but maybe that was just the style at the time. I don't know. Okay, so at least some of the shit seems to match. Okay. But all right.
It is possibly the right language.
It could be.
Could be.
Actually, shit. Should we try to? Actually, even we did kind of find out, like, where we could pronounce it. I still wouldn't know what it says. Never mind. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess someone could technically do it because I know some of it does look a little weird. Because actually, yeah, if you look at it, yeah, it does look like an M, but like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Can't
like
tell
they
if
didn't really put. That seems like a very half-ass like little carving right there.
Kind of looks like we're driving to Twin Peaks.
I actually do not understand that reference.
Oh, it was a TV series.
Oh, I know. I just don't know what the writing necessarily is.
Oh, it just looks like a couple of mountains to me.
Oh, yeah.
That was a vague joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about Twin Peaks. My mom was thinking about watching it, and she was like, "No, this is too fucking weird." I'm like, I get that. But yeah, I wonder if we could like translate that. That would be kind of fun. Oh, hey, you know what? It might be a thing we can do. Hold on. Translate. Could we do that? It's like, nah, I'm only Google. I can't do that.
Oh. Yeah, it would have been cool if it could.
Right. I think I'm asking too much of that poor little thing.
It's like, can't read handwriting.
Yeah, apparently that is what it looks like. It looks like a very ancient igloo cooler. Gotta know, like the styrofoam ones, It looks like that. I mean, obviously it's not, but
right.
It look fancier, but I don't know. Maybe Oh, next article. The doors are open for ISIS, Syria's Kurds, warned over advance by Turkish-backed forces. See, we warned people this was going to happen. Because this happens every fucking time. Every time you take down a Saddam or you take down a Gaddafi, more stupid shit pops in its place.
And we didn't know. We didn't think it could
absolutely
happen.
do. Oh, my biscuits. Actually, do I have that saved? Let me check my bookmarks. Do I have that saved?
Well, if we can figure it out, surely they can.
Does it not show bookmarks on this thing? Oh, it does. Oh, okay. Apparently it's not on this one. I'm pretty sure I warned somebody and I showed everybody an article. Let me go see if I can find that. Oh shit! No! I don't want to do that. No! Ooh, I almost left StreamYard with that. All right. Yes. 2013. Yes, they absolutely knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
The Rhetoric of Tehran.
And it
Sounds like a
benefited
good
greatly
title
from
for
the
a book.
downfall of the and it benefited greatly from the downfall of the Taliban and Saddam Hussein accordingly. Let's see this approach. Yes. But Washington does not want to supplant Assad, only to see Damascus come under the Al Qaeda rule. So yes, if they try to say, "Oh, we didn't know this would happen," yes, they motherfucking did, and they are lying to you when they try to tell you anything different. So yeah, fuck, yeah. Oh,
well, we don't know what the drones are either.
Right? Do not fuck with Jesus. Absolutely. Oh, hello, Mossad.
Merry Christmas.
He went by. Oh wait, actually no, that was.
We know this person.
I recognize the picture. That was
yes,
Chud Hub or something.
something
Like that. That picture looks like it belonged to Chub Hub. I remember the picture because it was all these guys like they're in Afghanistan and shit.
Right.
But meow to you though, and thank you for coming by, and we're glad to see you. That's bad. Oh wait.
Something that
DJ
you were
Play
reading was
hey
written.
There. Apparently people snuck in. I didn't see them. Oh, that.
Woo. Rock.
Had a brother. Oh, I reckon. I mean, I don't think they had much. Well, they probably were pretty, dicey on what they had for birth control. And it's hard to imagine that, like, Joseph and Mary lived all of that time together and not had another kid. In fact, the Bible mentions it. I'm not sure why they're arguing about it.
Right.
Although actually, there is a way that Jesus could have had older siblings, technically. Because I think Mary was about 14 at the time. And it was very common for someone who had a first wife, had kids, she died in childbirth, to marry, go and marry a second wife after she possible. Died. So it doesn't anywhere say that Joseph, it implies that Joseph was her first husband or the only person she'd been with, but it doesn't ever say that he's her, first husband, though.
Right.
And so if he was a little bit older than her, it would have made sense that he might have had a wife and kids previous, and she ended up being the stepmom, but Jesus being her son.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bible
that is a possibility.
told us, but it is, I mean, within the realm of possibility.
That would be a way that technically, would fit the story that maybe she didn't. He had siblings, but also her only having him.
I would be interested to talk to a Catholic about that, because that I do wonder how they explain that he had siblings, but she remained virgin all of her life.
Well, if he had already had children with his first wife and she died of having kids or something, which is super common back then, and he married her and she had Jesus, even if he decided not to get any from her after that, that would still allow him to have siblings.
Right.
Without me being a blasphemer.
Oh, everything.
It doesn't put the pressure on Joseph having never been with somebody before, only her. So that it's not blasphemy. All right. So.
ISIS.
Right. Yeah.
Let's open the door.
Come and knock on your door. As the new Syria struggle. I know I'm so wrong. As the new Syria struggle takes shape, old threats are reemerging because we all fucking knew that was coming. The chaos since the overthrow of Assad is paving the way for the so-called Islamic State to make a comeback, according to the leading Kurdish commander, who apparently nobody was bothering to listen to this whole fucking time except me and you and the people in the chat.
Mainly you, because I'm in my own oblivious world.
Well, I didn't want you to feel left out of that.
Right. Well, thank you. You're very kind.
Who helped defeat the jihadist group in Syria in 2019. He says the comeback has already begun. Yep. And soon we'll be seeing Christians massacred and anyone who doesn't follow along, if it's not already happening. Because it's going to be a huge embarrassment, another black eye on America, if we helped this happen and did nothing to help prevent this happening. Activity by Daesh. I don't know why they always came up with some extra fucking names. We'll just call them ISIS. ISIS has increased significantly, and the danger of a resurgence has doubled. according to General Mazloum Abdai, commander of the Syrian Democratic Forces, a mainly Kurdish militia backed by the U.S. They now have more capabilities and more opportunities, which means America fails what that is.
Right.
He says that ISIS militants have seized some arms and ammunitions left behind by the Syrian regime troop, according to intelligence reports. Oh, it just gets fucking better, doesn't it?
Yep.
And he warns that there's a real threat that the militias will try to break into the SDF-run prisons here in northeast Syria, which are holding about 10,000 of their men. And the SDF is also holding about 50,000 of their family members in camps. Oh, yeah, because, Oh, wait, hold on. So, how long have these people been in there?
I don't know.
Well, think about this. I don't think they managed to put 10,000 ISIS and 50,000 of their family members in camps in like last couple of weeks. So that would imply to me that Assad had these people in prison.
Yeah.
Which sounds like he was doing his part to keep ISIS at bay.
Right. Even though it was kind of brutal, but yes.
Well, ISIS likes to cut people's heads off, we hear.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
know. I'm not saying he's doing wrong necessarily.
Right. And we don't know how brutal it is in there. I mean, hell.
No, we don't.
It may not be as bad as Oklahoma County Jail, where it seems like people die every year for supposedly self-inflicted, even though I've been in county jail. I don't see how you could do that shit.
Right.
One woman supposedly hung herself with a telephone cord that's a foot long. Come on.
Of course she did.
Like, my neck is like, yeah, I don't have enough. I couldn't wrap it around and hang myself like that.
Well, she obviously had talent.
Yeah, talent like that, she wouldn't be in jail. Kidding. I'm kidding. They'll arrest you on some dumb shit here.
I'm just gonna. Yeah.
So they have 10,000 ISIS and 50,000 of their family members in camps, which I don't know if that sounds good, because sometimes people can be doing shit and you not know it, and you're gonna get hemmed up with them. But nonetheless, so we got 60,000 ISIS and related people in jail that I'm assuming Assad put there. And now they're worried about them being broken out, which I'm assuming would not have happened if Assad had stayed in place, because it didn't happen. Our interview with the general was late at night at a location we can't disclose. He welcomed the fall of Assad's regime, which detained him 4 times, but he looked wary and admitted to frustration in the prospect of fighting old battles once again. So he went to jail. I wonder if they're going to tell us why he was in jail. I feel like that's a good question.
Right.
We fought against them, ISIS, and paid 12,000 souls. He said, referred to the SDF's losses. I think at some level we will have to go back to where we were before. The risk of an ISIS resurgence is heightened, he said, because the SDF is coming under increased attacks from neighboring Turkey and rebel factions it supports, and must divert some of the fighters to that battle. See, I kind of worried about that, because like a month ago I was talking about how Turkey was trying to start some shit with the Kurds, and I'm like, that's not fucking good. Yeah. Well, it's not. And again, I called it. I really think it will be cool if we can get our I say hour, it's like the royal hour.
Yours.
Joel on here.
That would be.
Yeah, he could be our extra special stiffy guest. Because I have a pen pal. My mom decided to set me up with a pen pal back when I was 16. So it was like 1997. And she's like, you need to make friends somewhere, especially not in Oklahoma, because she thought this place was a wasteland. She wasn't entirely wrong. And so I don't know how, but somehow before we ever had internet or anything, she found me an Israeli pen pal named Joel. And I don't know if he still lives in Haifa, but he did at the time. And he went to school for aerospace engineering and all kinds of fancy shit. Dude's so smart. When I Googled him, I needed a degree just to read his accreditations. I was like, God dang.
I bookmarked his book.
Right? Yeah, dude's published out the ass. He's got books. He's got like some publications and books on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. I'm like, holy fuck, this dude's gotten really fancy. I remember I knew him back before he was fancy. But but yeah, it might be cool to have him, like, I don't know. I was hesitant to give him my channel address because I was like, I don't know where his politics lie. And so I'm like, so I was like, I hope you don't not ever talk to me again because of this. And send him my channel name.
I guess we'll find out.
Right? But like last time, like a couple months ago, I thought I must have said the wrong thing because he didn't talk to me for a while, and then he was like, "Hey, Merry Christmas," and I'm like, "Oh shit."
Well, if he's writing those super intelligent books, he's probably busy.
Well, that's true. Because yeah, he's doing all kinds of algorithm fancy shit, and God knows what all else. It's a lot of fancy stuff. So okay, so I think it would be neat, like, give his opinion. He told me, oh yeah, that's what I was getting at. He was telling me the way I was able to, because I kind of guessed the Yemeni thing was going to happen. Oh, that's right. I was going to tell y'all. I forgot. All right. So like 7 days ago, I told everybody that, hold on. Two French conspiracy theorists walk into a street. Yeah. Gonna blaspheme a bit. Jesus was a combination of alien DNA. I think we all are. I actually think most white people are a combination of alien DNA, to be honest. And I don't know if other people are as well. I don't know. But I think that something had to kickstart evolution to us to come from like primates, and I think that might have been it. So, let's see. My brain.
The Anunnaki.
Right, exactly. My brain. What was I doing? Oh yes, one of these.
Something about Yemen, I think.
I did, but I also have to go find it now. Shit.
Die Hard. Sorry. The Y-Files.
Oh, here we. Is this it? Is this the one? I think it's close. Okay. Now I'm going to have to do this so I can do this again, because if I don't have it, like, if it's just entire screen, it's not going to let you hear it. So, all right. So this is 8 days ago, December the 13th. Now, I was off by a little bit because I said in a month or so. So, Hamas has been destroyed. They've been saying Hamas has been destroyed. Hold on. Like, since October, after this part, because it's hard to get it. And yet they're still bombing the shit out of Gaza, killing people. And they,
but it's just fun to bomb Gaza.
Where no Hamas has been. A small arsenal of Iranian weapons. How it's funny how everybody's got Iranian weapons. It's kind of wild.
I don't have any Iranian weapons.
Shipping routes in the Red Sea, not for attacking Israel. Right there. I had said, all right, hold on, let's back it up a little. And they're saying that Hamas has been destroyed. They've been saying Hamas has been destroyed for like since October. And yet they're still bombing the shit out of Gaza, killing people. Hold on. And they've moved their shit over to, they've been attacking the West Bank, where no Hamas has been reported at all. So if Hamas has been destroyed, like they keep repeating for the last 3 months. I'm getting tired of hearing myself talk. There's no reason to keep bombing civilians in Gaza, is there? Just because they like to do it. And while the Houthis have a small arsenal of Iranian weapons, how it's funny how everybody's got Iranian weapons. It's kind of wild. They are mostly intended for disrupting shipping routes in the Red Sea, not for attacking Israel. Which I feel like they kind of claimed that Houthis were trying to attack Israel. Now they're admitting that. Let's keep this in mind, because I'm sure in the upcoming month or two, they're going to claim that the Houthis are attacking Israel. But here they said they don't have the weapons for that sort of thing. So right there, I said I was wrong. It wasn't even a month. It was 8 days, 8 fucking days. So our friend in Israel told me that I think at 3:00 his time, they the Houthis sent a missile over and hit Tel Aviv. So it wasn't even a month. I was like, mark your calendars, because we're going to hear about the Houthis sending something over in the next month. Apparently it was 8 days. But I fucking called it. I told you. And I even told him, I was like, dude, I predicted this 8 days ago that this would happen. And he goes, you should be an analyst for the government. I'm like, oh. Because first off, the government does something wrong, I'm going to snitch. Like, they're not going to want to hire me. They'll kill me. I cannot keep their secrets. I'll be telling everybody their business. I would. And I was like, well, if you think that's impressive, you're definitely going to freak out when I tell you that I sort of predicted the October war was going to happen. Although I didn't know it was going to happen, but I did predict it 2 months before it actually did. I just didn't know when it was going to. But I was like, you're not going to like how I guessed at it, though, or how I predicted it. Because I had seen the kind of legislative moves that Netanyahu was doing. And he was wanting to reduce or strip away the powers from their Supreme Court to make it a little harder to control him. And I'm like, nobody does that unless they're planning something big and bad.
Yeah.
Well, sure fucking enough, 2 months later, boom, all this crazy shit's happening. So I was like, damn, I didn't know it was going to be that bad, but I should have. So, but yeah. So hopefully, if he doesn't hate everything too bad, our little Israeli friend will maybe hop on and talk to us, and I'll try to find articles that are, something interesting to discuss. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, even if he does agree with my politics, there's probably a limit to what he could say because he's still stuck over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, yeah, if you speak up too much against their government, you might get labeled a terrorist, just like here in America.
Exactly.
And I don't want that for him. That would suck.
Yeah.
Oh, the Y-Files. I love Y-Files. I love Hecklefish. He's so cute. Like, somewhere we have a coffee mug with Hecklefish on it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know they have a little merch shop. Like, I would love to get like a little shirt with Hecklefish on it. I love that.
I want the slippers.
Oh my god, they have slippers now? Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool. I love it. I want that. That's so good.
Yeah.
I love Hecklefish. He's so terrific.
You can get a t-shirt with Hecklefish for president.
Oh my god, hell yeah. He would have my vote. Yes.
Well, yeah. Vote Hecklefish for a change.
But as I was talking about, because I just realized I had to get this article, I bounced around too much. Houthis fired ballistic missile named Palestine 2 at Tel Aviv. I don't know. And it's wild because, like, if you look at this picture, this is where I guess it hit. Oh, here we go. Let me hide this little thing right there. So this little tiny little thing. Like, that seems like, I feel like a missile would have done more. It just, yeah.
I'm no ballistics expert, but yeah.
I don't even see any scorch marks or anything on the dirt. Like, I feel like, I don't know. It seems like a little bit of ash in there, but I figured it'd be like a little more scorched or something.
It's almost more like a small meteor hit or something. I don't know. But I don't know. No,
it's probably smaller than a missile, I would think.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It just doesn't look,
Yeah, I'd need some spiffy military ballistics person to tell me what they thought.
Right? Don't tell them like the context of the picture. Just ask them what they see. That way they don't feel politically inclined one way or the other. Like almost blind study, so to speak. But yeah. I mean, I can understand why I don't see a lot of debris because they probably collected pieces to analyze it. But like, I figured it would be a little more scorched looking. I mean, I don't know. I assume they explode on contact. Is what I assume they did. Otherwise, what's the point of them? Might as well just have a trebuchet throwing shit. I mean, honestly, if it's not going to explode on contact. Why you bother? Oh, what's up, Dee Dee?
I'm going to my little Christmas furniture event.
Oh,
you like my outfit?
You look adorable. Are you going to skate?
Yeah.
Ooh. Are you going to wear anything to protect yourself? Well, I meant it's like your hands or your head.
Oh, no.
Oh, I wish you would.
I have good balance, just not 20 miles per hour.
Well, yeah, don't go 20 miles an hour again.
We'll have protection. You got those weird little furry things.
You know what? Bring that boy back here. I'm going to hit him. She's going to go ice skating. Her boyfriend likes to get me riled up. So I was talking about like a helmet or gloves or something. She's going to go ice skating, which I'm like, you just recovered from your accident. And you're back on it again. I was like, dang. I was like, are you not going to have some sort of protection? And he goes, we got protection. We have those little rubbery things. And she closes the door like, shut up. And I'm like, bring that boy back here. I want to hit him with something.
Yeah, we didn't talk like that when I was a kid because people usually like cleaning shotguns when you met their daughters and stuff.
I don't have a shotgun.
That's what my dad did.
Right? Well, I feel like that's almost overplayed because
maybe it is, but that's what he did. Leanne brought her fiance home, and Dad was cleaning the shotgun. So anyway, he married her. The fiance.
Maybe if I looked scarier, it would help. But I don't look
Dad
scary. I look
did
like I'm
look
having a
pretty
tough time. I get
scary.
off the couch and I'm like, oh, my sciatica. You know, I don't look
Right.
scary. I probably look like Tweety Bird's mom, the little old granny with the shotgun. Like nobody'd be scared of me.
I
my-
did, Tom Putty Tat.
But yeah, like so yeah, I think it's kind of a small little impact spot for being what this is supposed to be. But nonetheless, it said the missile hit its target accurately and the defense intercept system failed to intercept it. How is that accurate? Do you think they were just trying to put a hole in a particle?
Yes.
Like
That was the target.
that seems silly. It looks like they just threw it and just kind of landed wherever. Like that's kind of the missile hit its target accurately. I didn't know they were aiming for dirt, but okay. The interception failed the system. Oh, the interception system failed to intercept it. And the Houthis said in a statement released Saturday morning, adding to the attack was in response to the massacre against our brothers in Gaza. Oh, that's fair enough. I mean, I like people who at least have a reason for the shit they do. Hamas praised the strike in a statement shortly after. You praised them hitting dirt? Like, I don't know. That feels silly. I'm sorry. It does. Like, sometimes I think they're lying about some shit. Like,
I don't know how to even respond.
I mean, look how many lies were around the Murrah building thing.
Oh my god!
And we're right here. Like this
Yeah.
is way far away. So who knows? And I'm starting to find out in the last few years that a lot of times the news we hear about, like if we hear about something going on in another state, the people in that state don't even know about it. They're like, we didn't even hear about this on our news. So who knows that's the game they play?
Well, that's like there was a scandal. I don't want to say too much about it, but there was a scandal here in Tonkawa, and one of my friends heard about it because he was, he read it in a paper on the other end of the state. And
right.
I never heard of it. Nobody's talking about it here.
It's crazy how that happens. Nearly all Houthi missiles have been intercepted over the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest waterways. Now that I thought was super weird. So when y'all saw me have this up earlier, this is why. So, all right. So Tel Aviv is where they hit. That's, get it a little closer so you can get a look at it. All the way over here, like on the farthest coast of Israel. So you got to pass a whole bunch of shit to get to that, just so everybody has like a visual of this. So Yemen is down. Yemen is here. There's Yemen. When I back out of it, it shows the capital, but it doesn't show it's Yemen, but it is because we saw it.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. All right. So supposedly they're getting their weapons from over here in Iran. Let's move over here a little bit. And I'm assuming sensibly, you just kind of will,
yeah,
boop, through Oman, because I don't think the UAE would be having it, because United Arab Emirates, they're trying to be very westernized. I don't think they're trying to participate in that shit. Like, I think they're just all about, being fancy, walking their cheetahs with their leashes and having cosmetic surgery.
Right.
So Oman, I can see Oman being in it. Like, even though nobody said anything about it, but yeah, you can just right across this little.
It's at least in the realm of possibility.
Little archipelago right here, and then shimmy through Yemen. Although nobody's really mentioned Yemen, Oman being involved. Although, like, that's weird because I actually think we have bases in Oman. I found one time.
We have bases all over the
right. So it makes
place.
you wonder what's going on in Oman. They're not doing anything. I mean, technically, someone can just hop on a little boat and
I wish I could find it because Ron Paul was claiming that there were only 4 nations left on Earth that haven't either had American troops there or a base set up.
I would have to see if Google Maps will still allow me to see it, because this was back when I think I might have been pregnant with Deidre at the time. So this might have been almost like 17 years ago. But it was somewhere around here, not far from the coast.
Gotcha.
And, the buildings were like, you could see there was buildings there by the shadow it was creating because of where the sun was, but the building's roof were painted the same color as the sand, so you almost don't see it until you just happen to find it. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it's even still that way. Let me see. Bird's eye. Apparently it's like satellite.
Nope.
So let me see. I mean, it's been many years.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
it would be
something.
somewhere in this area because it was not far from the water. I remember that. I told my dad about it. He's like, "You're trying to get us killed, aren't you?" All right, let me back up on this so you can see where the border is. Okay. I think it's somewhere in this. But again, they might have edited it out. They've gotten better with their editing abilities in the last 20 years. So,
Right.
oh, wait a minute. What is, oh, those are clouds. Okay. Oh, here we go. Well, there's some roads, but usually roads go to somewhere. Plus, you got some people cutting off,
Something. Right.
cutting corners a little bit. That's an interesting random square. Maybe a building used to be there.
Right.
Maybe they removed it. So I don't know if that was it or if there was another. How far am I from the water? Oh, okay, here's the coast. So, oh, here we go. This
Looks
would
like
be an odd.
something was there.
Yep, something was. So they might have packed them up and moved at one point because they've had 17 years to do it since the last time I looked. So yeah, I knew it was near the coast. So this might have been it. They might have built up because there was only like 2 or 3 buildings when I looked, and so they might have built something temporarily there and then moved it out, or it's edited.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they could have edited it and it could still be there, and we're just seeing this because they're not good at editing. But yeah, and how far is that from the water? Yeah, it's not. Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Not very far away at all.
Yeah, I remembered it was near the coast. I just couldn't remember the exact, whatever you call it, longitude and latitude of it. But yeah, I think this was like a main road they used, and probably like because you see, kind of like it seems to have a little road here that appears out of nowhere. It leads to this. So yeah, I think whatever it was is either hidden much better now, or they just packed it all up and left. But yeah. Because I asked a friend of mine many years ago back in the Air Force because he was going to Dubai, and asked if he knew anything about that, and he hesitates and he's like, "If I did, I still wouldn't be allowed to tell you."
Gotcha.
And I'm like, I hear you, brother. So yeah, I think wait. Yeah, I think something might have been here as well because you can see like all the like they don't have an official road, so there's a bunch of driving to like that spot and to this spot that has like almost like a backwards 7 shape, and then I might have been some stuff over here, and they might have packed that up as well. So, because yeah, it's kind of weird to have roads just in the middle of nowhere. They go to nothing. So,
Hey, even Oklahoma usually has its roads go somewhere.
Right, exactly. But either way, though,
Gaza.
is this where we're at, or are we over on this? Oh yeah, we're on the Houthi thing. Okay. So yeah, so I was kind of wondering if like, so yeah, when I was talking to Joel today, and I was like, why in the hell would they bother? And I was thinking about them shooting a missile in a straight line, like firing it over Saudi Arabia and Jordan. Like they must think it's a little weird to have that shit flying over their heads. And he's like, no, these are like kind of like programmed to kind of take a certain angle and go around to avoid doing that. So it kind of slips up between, I think he said Egypt and Saudi Arabia. I can't remember exactly what he said. I'd have to
That makes sense.
And I was like, okay, it does make sense. But it also, oh, fuck, I wish I hadn't closed that down now. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Let's back out of that altogether and go back to. TV glitched again. It's dark and I can't see anything on the screen. I don't know why all my TVs do that eventually. It's crazy. Anyway.
It's been doing something.
Yeah. So basically here's Yemen, and basically they intercepted over the Red Sea, but Tel Aviv and Israel are over here. So like at the best, being in the water, they'd have to kind of but be able to shoot it down, because I don't know where all their little aero missile defender things are, but they would have to shoot it down. They'd have to shoot it out of the country and over here. Because, yeah. So unless, I don't know, it just seems weird, because technically it seems like if Iran is giving Yemen the weapons, wouldn't it just be more efficient for Iran to shoot it over Iraq and Syria and hit them? Like it seems like I feel like it would be more efficient than somewhere all the way down here launching like I don't know, because if they're already pissed at Iran and Iran's giving them the weapons, why not just do it yourself? But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they wanted to. I don't know. It just seems less efficient, I guess. And generally, they don't mess with anything except the boats passing through here to try to make shipping difficult.
Right.
Just like that article was saying, they have a few things, but they generally stick to fucking with the boats going by. And I was like, watch them change their mind. And sure enough, look at 8 days later, yeah, they did. I'm like, okay. And the reason why I think that's a possibility is, one, if they didn't do it, if the Houthis didn't, then the article could have made it to where, like, oh, we said that they probably wouldn't bother us. So that makes them not sound like a threat, which means we won't have grounds to go after them. And we're pissed at them for fucking with our money and causing shipping to be a problem. Mm-hmm. So, you look bad attacking someone who hasn't actually attacked you, per se. So they might have decided to recant on that and say, hey, they threw a missile at us, or they were just entirely fucking wrong.
Or we could always have a Gulf of Tonkin kind of thing. Oh, they fired a missile on us.
Right? But Yemen firing finding either way to fire over here, that'd be easier. I mean, Iran's right here. Right over Iraq. Nobody gives a fuck about Iraq.
No one's going to care. Now Jordan might, but you're right. They could just as easily take it over Iraq and Syria.
Well, I mean, yeah,
instead.
because Jordan's just right here. Yeah, you could just be like,
yep,
and get them. I mean, technically, I'm not telling them to do this,
quicker, but right, yeah.
But I feel like you're more likely to hit something better than an empty park in a pile of dirt. If you're at least closer to aim your shit. And that's why I have a hard time believing that Hamas is it's like, really?
We got an empty park.
Which kind of, I mean, it's not good to hit a park at all. Maybe they felt it was a victory just getting past their defense system.
You're probably right.
I mean, that might be it, but it's like, I don't know, if you can program your missile, why hit a pile of dirt? That seems silly. When you aim it for something good, impressive, something that makes an impact, so to speak.
Yeah, I would think just almost anything would be a cooler target than a pile of dirt.
And you know what? Just for the hell of it, let me go see let's see, missile pile impact in dirt. I just want to see what that looks like, if it'll even bother to tell us what that looks like. So let's find some images, although it hates to give me any proper images of anything. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, how deep impact? Okay. Watch it for a few seconds. I can't make it bigger. What the fuck? I can't even pause it. Oh, okay. What the fuck?
Freaking YouTube.
Okay. There we go. So if it's that, my screen went dark again. From 1 kilometer up. That right there, from being dropped 1 kilometer up, is about how deep I think that hole was at best. Somewhere between this and this. When you agree, it wasn't a very deep hole. So between 30 meters and a kilometer, somewhere in between is about, it seems like that would be about how far that missile might have come from, which rules out,
It does make it makes me scratch my head anyway.
Yeah, I didn't mean to stumble into that. That's interesting. Let me see. Let's see what else it offers as far as information on that. Let's see. Well, I'm pretty sure that's not that. That's a meteor. Yeah. Oh. All right. Palestinians staying next to crater, fired from something.
Okay, that's way more impressive.
Yeah, yeah. So
I mean, at least as far as size. Now the
Right.
target, I don't know because I don't know.
now
what
we
was
don't know what
there.
kind of missile it was, granted, but I mean, I would
But
expect,
it's
like I said,
definitely a
that
deeper
other hole
hole.
looks like someone dug it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So that's more what I would have expected to see.
I would be surprised if that other one was even 6 feet deep.
Nah, it was more like 2.5, 3 feet deep. It wasn't
Right.
much. It looks like it was dropped from like 30 kilometers up. Let's see, World War II, huge crater. That's definitely not going to be the kind of armaments. Oh, be quiet, kitty cat. Got a cat meowing at my door.
Meow.
That's also deeper. It's smaller. The hole is smaller around, but it's still deeper than that one we saw at that park.
Right.
Like quite a bit. Like that could be dropped from a kilometer up. Like that's believable. I swear I'm going to throw something to that cat.
Meow.
Right. Cat's all meow, meow. Push.
Somebody needs to pay attention to me.
Pretty much. Socks, calm down. I'll be there in a minute. All right, it's not wanting to show me the picture now. Oh.
Final. Free for hair loss.
Oh, for heaven's
Sorry.
sake. Let me get a fucking ad. Socks, calm down. You know what? Fine. I'm going to let Socks out. She's not going to stop. She'll get louder. So,
Okay.
I'll leave this playing and
We will learn about medicines.
all right, come on.
Optimize your health. Help for hair loss, weight loss, anxiety. El Kabong.
Good grief. She occasionally meows when she wants me to come and watch her eat. I was like, bitch, I'm not fucking watching you eat right now. Are you kidding? Did it show the missile yet? Or the missile hole?
It showed the crater. It was
Okay.
Bigger than the one that we were looking at.
So far, all the missile impact spots we've seen are much bigger than that. And it was supposed to be something impressive enough to come all the way from Yemen and taking a roundabout way and hit like the northern part of Israel.
Maybe
from the
Yemen
south?
just doesn't have great stuff. I don't know.
Well, it managed to be programmed to go that far, but it
I
only
think-
made like.
I think you have a point, though, that they were mainly just impressed that it got through.
Page not found, but I like the
Of
astronaut
course.
kitty. That's awesome.
That is cool.
I just love that.
Astro
That's
Kitty.
the best way I've been told that picture image doesn't exist. I love that. Let's see. But yeah, I'm supposed to believe this wee tiny thing here. Like, I feel like a hand grenade would have done more. You're telling me that missile was weaker than a hand grenade? That's lame. Yeah, that just doesn't sit right with me. That's just weird. I didn't realize how much that was going to bug me, but now it does. Nearly all Houthi missiles have been intercepted over the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest waterways, where the group has also targeted commercial vessels. Not all, just y'all's. Israel and Houthi rebels have repeatedly fired retaliatory. I like how they say retaliatory, because you can't retaliate when someone's done something to you first, by the way.
Right.
Fire retaliatory strikes at each other since the start of the nearly year-long war. Nearly? I mean, nearly. What date is this?
This might be an older article.
7 hours ago, it says.
No. They just can't tell time.
Right. Maybe when they were first starting to write the article, who knows? But that's weird because this happened last night.
Right.
Sparked when Hamas attacked southern Israel, killing 1,200 people. They always like to add that bit in. Israel attacks have killed 45,000 people. That's weird because weren't they saying that anyone who thinks that 45,000 people have died in Gaza and that number's inflated and that's Hamas numbers, like that's lies that Hamas put out. So I think that's kind of interesting that like
Right.
So those numbers are still under. That's like the opposite of inflated. Let's see. Most of them women and children, according to Palestinian health officials. On Friday, Israeli airstrikes killed 25 people in Gaza. So remember when I said for each bomb they dropped, 25, say maybe 5 people die each time was not a low estimate. Yeah,
No.
usually it's 25 to 50 people, sometimes more.
Right.
Can you imagine those numbers? Jesus.
It's crazy.
Actually, let me get my calculator. I'm scared to see this number. So, all right. So let's say, all right, they say they're saying they killed 45,000 people. So let's say it's one bomb each. Or so let's say it's 45,000 bombs they've dropped. You know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, no. Well, they said they did like 40,000 hits. And that was in October. So I don't know what the number is now. I think 50? No. No, we'll just stick with 40,000 targets. We'll just stick with what they said before, even though it's outdated now.
Right.
So, my brain forgot how to math. Fuck.
Math is horrible, and it doesn't help when one gets tired.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So if it's 40, 1, 2, 3. All right. And they kill, let's say, 20 people, because like I said, it's usually 25 to 50 people each time. Let's just say 20. Oh God, 800,000 people. Oh fuck. That's a shocking fucking number. Whew. Oh God. Okay. Let's see. Dr. Al-Borsh, the Director General of the Health in Gaza, said an attack on a house in Jabliya in northern Gaza killed 12 people, most of them children and a woman. And he called the attack a bloody massacre and said that the bombing had injured several others. The Houthis have used the ongoing escalation in Gaza to justify their attacks. Well, I mean, I can understand that. In September, 9 people were injured during running to a shelter after a ballistic missile launched from Yemen crossed into Israel, landing in an open field outside Tel Aviv. It's weird how it keeps landing in open fields a lot of times. Not all the time, but like a lot.
Right.
Tel Aviv, Israel's second largest city, serves as the nation's commercial and diplomatic hub. Direct impacts on the city from incoming projectiles are uncommon, thanks to Israel's usually robust air system. Yeah, I asked him about that. I was like, y'all's Arrow 3 not working? And he's apparently not right now. Like, but yeah, all those impacts that we've seen from different missiles, from different angles and distances, like that's pretty pitiful. I mean, just the momentum it had flying that fast and for that long, like I feel like the impact should have been deeper. So yeah, this looks like I said, I think a hand grenade could have made a bigger impact. So I don't know how to feel about how silly this looks.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that impressive. But again, I think you have a point that just getting anything through at all may be impressive.
But something that confuses me is that because you got Egypt right here. I don't know why it's not saying Egypt, but I think it's Egypt. This is North and South Sinai. Okay. Well, yeah, this has got to be Egypt because it's got the Rafah crossing right here. So this has to be. So what I don't get is if they're like shooting it down, like how come like Egypt's not helping out? Like that kind of makes you wonder a little bit. And Saudi Arabia is right here. Like that's coming awfully close to their airspace.
Yeah, and I don't think Saudi Arabia would be, they may have their issues, but they aren't going to like people lobbing missiles near them.
Right. And so I don't understand why, I mean, Egypt, I don't know. Egypt doesn't really like the Palestinians. They don't like Israel either.
Right.
I don't think they like anybody. I'm going to be honest.
Well,
I think Egypt thinks they're too good to be cool with anybody.
Well,
point.
Yeah.
But you at least think Saudi Arabia might be like, yo, I don't think so. And Jordan doesn't seem to be doing much, I don't think, I don't hear about, I mean, they might be, but I don't hear about Jordan shooting anything down. And those are two right here that could, interfere. So I have been secretly wondering if sometimes there's a little bit of a false flag, because it would make more sense if, say, somewhere over here it was launched toward Tel Aviv at a target they know isn't going to do any harm to its people, but just enough to keep the pressure going, keep people thinking,
Right.
oh, so we've been attacked. Because I don't know, because sometimes like in videos I've seen of people like in Israel, in the background you just see like something shooting something out of the sky,
Right.
and it's like it seems odd that it just, I don't know. I feel like they do it. Maybe sometimes it's done routinely just to keep people on their toes, but it's them doing it. Because let's say if you're over here in Tel Aviv, you're not going to know somebody over here launched something.
Right.
I mean, if America can like allow its own people to get blown up in fake terror attacks, I don't know why nobody else can do it either. And again,
Oh yeah.
and like I said, this doesn't look like they were trying to hit anybody. It was an empty park in the middle of the night. So one could argue that the government is lying and false flagged it and said, "Oh, a missile hit," and gives them an excuse to go after the Houthis, who they're mad at for fucking with their money. So yeah, that's my theory on it.
I'm just mad at the Houthis for spelling their name that way. Sorry. Okay, never mind.
Well,
Never
I'm sure
mind.
it's some. I don't know. I'm sure they have.
Oh, I'm sure they have a good reason for it. I'm just being a jerk.
Yeah, it's just the American sounding version of it for us, or at least
Right on.
something we could pronounce easier. They probably have some fancier name that makes more sense to them. But yeah, I don't know. It seems.
It does seem weird though. It sure
Yeah.
does. There's something just odd. I don't know exactly
Because
what
really,
happened.
there's no action going on, and I don't know.
Tel Aviv.
All right. There's like a base somewhere south of here, I think. There's actually a couple of bases, I think, here and near Beersheba, I think. Wouldn't it make sense to try to hit one of those instead of an empty park in the middle of the night? If that's what you were actually, I mean, I don't know. They're the lack of it, no proper impact place, no real good crater there, and this, I don't know, hitting a park in the middle of the night doesn't feel like they were, I don't know. Sounds suspicious.
It definitely doesn't seem like it was very. If it was Yemeni, it doesn't seem like they have very good targeting systems.
Right. I mean, because you can program it to, take the long way and avoid certain airspace, and I'm assuming you can at least program where it's going to land.
Well,
some
I
degree.
can't remember who it was, but someone was talking about the drones over New Jersey, and they were talking about how it seems like a decade ago we were told that we could track something the size of a can of soup from 100 miles.
Well, we can easily argue
anywhere.
that these don't have that because according to Joel, who I was emailing earlier, he said that Yemen is about as third world as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they do get the weapons from Iran, and I would assume Iran would have better shit.
Well, I mean, I doubt if Iran's giving them their best stuff, though.
Well, maybe not,
Just
but
put that out
maybe
there.
something a little more. But again, a choice of target. Like, let's see, satellite view. Let's go. I don't know why this tab's out here. It doesn't. All right. Well, here we go. This is
There's a nice
Beersheba.
industrial area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty populated.
Does look like a better target.
Exactly. Let's see. I think I don't know where it is. If there's a military base, it's probably gonna be out over here. Cemetery there. Health edition. Stadium. College. Maybe they would have the base just outside of that area. Ben Gurion Airport, I think. No, maybe something but Ben Gurion. I can't really. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, get more bang for your buck, this would have been easier. Especially if you got one missile through and you realize the defense system wasn't working. Why stop at one?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I was their opponent and I was like, oh, their fucking Arrow 3 system's down, fucking launch. Like, it would make sense. Oh, is this it? Oh, Air Force Museum, which means I think the Air Force itself. Here it is. I knew it was near here. I fucking knew it. I knew one of their bases was nearby. This is Hetzerum Air Base. So yeah. So here we go. So all right. So their defense. Let me mark this real quick so we can have a. Can I pin this thing, or is it not going to let me pin that? Oh man, fuck this thing. Okay, fine. So where my arrow is where that base is. So up there near the top, you see Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, it would have made more sense, and it would have been quicker and closer to hit the air base near Beersheba.
Exactly.
Instead of just an empty park. I mean, the military base, you're bound to get something, a decent target out of that. You can just throw it blindly at it.
Yeah.
But nobody seems to be hitting that, but it hits things like Tel Aviv. And if it's coming from the direction, leaving my key or my little thing there, but now it'd be close to Rafa on this map now, but just below it. So if it's coming in from this way, it would make sense to just stop it here and get that base.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's, I mean, hell, it's easy to look up. We just saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So they even have half of a fucking,
as long as they have
bar.
internet, and
exactly.
I mean, I would hope they have internet if they've got freaking missiles that they can lob at people.
So what I don't understand is if they get all these missiles thrown at them, why are they not hitting something important? And like I said, I'm not even sure that was a missile, but yeah. Yeah, if I was them, I figured the air base would be a perfect target. So instead, they went way out of their way, all the way up to the middle, about the middle of Israel, and missed all those, I would assume, good targets. I mean, I know that's weird. It probably doesn't sound good. I'm calling them good targets, but
when you're thinking,
I'm sure people know what I mean, though.
Yeah. From
like,
the enemy
I'm not
from
showing
the
anybody getting killed, really.
perspective, right?
But it makes sense because.
But you'd think that would be the objective of the Houthis,
right?
And if it isn't, they'd still.
And
I don't know.
Also, if you want to keep it classy, there's not a whole lot of civilian housing around here. Like over here, it's here, but here it's kind of out by itself a little bit. So pretty much only people on this airbase would most likely be contractors or military themselves. So that would be a better target to hit technically. So it does make me kind of wonder why they didn't bother doing something so much.
I mean, unless it was just simply their objective to prove that they could hit.
Well, technically, you could just hit right over here then.
Yeah.
Right near the base. That's plenty of open space you could hit and not hurt anyone if that's what you want to do. And it still proves you can get in there.
Yeah.
Like I said, it takes the long fucking way all the way around up to the upper middle of Israel when you could have hit way better targets. So I feel like why would Yemen bother if they don't have much in the way of armaments in the first place? Why waste them on like that?
Right.
I'm not doubting maybe someone is throwing some shit at Israel. Maybe they are, but I don't think it's Yemen. I mean, and Iran, I guess it could be Iran, but man, that's some lame ass fucking target acquisition there. Huh. Yeah. Well, all right. I've complained enough. God, I feel like we've been doing this for a while. Oh, wow. Over 2 hours. My bad.
It's all good.
Let's see. Ah, we have roads that go to nowhere. Well, yeah, I suppose so. But their roads seem to appear out of nowhere. Like sometimes our roads, I don't know. Anyway, the government shutdown is a bad thing. Took FEMA how many days to get water to North? Right? But trillions to themselves and amount of money. Oh, absolutely. Fuck FEMA. Absolutely. You're witnessing. Right. Indeed.
Sounds about right to me, anyway.
Well, let us send our hugs and loves to Lady Mist and Loch Donnan and to Daniel and to Frosty Broccoli and to Bone and to Putin Cat. Can't forget Putin Cat. Oh, Canadian RV. I'm so sorry I didn't say hi to him. I'm sorry I didn't realize. Oh, I missed him. Oh, if he's still listening, I'm glad you're here. DJ Play Nice. Massaw the Defiler. Wow. What a name. Let's see. Yeah, I think we got everybody. So,
Pretty good turnout.
I think so. They're fabulous. It may be a small audience, but it's a good audience.
There you go. There you go.
So, Curtis, do you
Yeah.
have anything coming up?
No, I probably will do something Thursday, the day after Christmas, but I haven't decided yet what it will be. And I didn't put out any polls because I would figure I'll forget by then anyway what everyone voted on. So anyway.
Well, you could just keep a screenshot of it or something, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But that would be logical. Why would I do that?
Oh, okay. Oh, and meow meow to Dad Man walking. Hello, how are you?
Dad Man.
I haven't seen him in a while. Glad to see you're, still got it going on. I hope things are well with you.
Battling with some cough stuff, I believe.
Oh no, that's I did hear there was something going around, some kind of respiratory issue, and I'm like, of course. Then you gotta release something every once in a while. And 6.9 million to study smart toilets that recognize the user's anal print. No, are you serious? Wow, it is true. Okay. He knew I was going to ask that. He already knew I was going to ask that, so he had it ready. Oh my God! You know how many homeless people get fed with that? That's so insane. If
Yeah,
I could get healthy
exactly.
as well as Mrs. It would be better. Well, don't be shy about using like onion and garlic and stuff. That's supposed to help too. Of course, it helps that I like onion and garlic.
I like grilled onions, but I don't like raw onions.
It depends on what I'm eating. Like if it's on a burger, I do like the crunch of fresh onions. But also sometimes on a burger, some sauteed onions is kind of sexy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think it just depends on the mood a bit. That werewolf movie is still not available yet. That is fucking pissing me off. I don't know why it's not available. Like,
I am kind of looking forward to seeing Nosferatu.
Oh, heck yeah. I hope they don't give me the same amount of trouble because, like, I've been waiting since the 6th of December to see Werewolves and it's not come out on that website. Oh, heck yeah, some caramel onions. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, caramelized onions are the bomb.
Oh, yeah, that is sassy. Oh. All right. Well, let's see. I guess if I find a movie, I will try to put something on for tomorrow the next day. And if I don't find something worth watching, I will probably come back and complain about shit in another day or two because, stuff is constantly happening. You almost can't take 2 days off without something else going on.
Right.
Oh, and our boy Luigi Mangione, did y'all, people, the internet's been going crazy the way they escorted him to New York. Did you see that shit?
Yes.
Wow, it looked like when Superman was being escorted by the police.
I think he had more police on him than Superman had on him. So
yeah, that's true. And also, let me see if I can do an entire screen. Let's see if I can find this. Let's see. They say it. Might just have to go look it up. But yeah, in one of the pictures, Mayor Adams is right behind him. How bizarre is that?
Interesting.
I thought it was pretty strange. Let's see. News. That one doesn't show him. But this one does. There he is.
That's
Mayor
enough.
Adams
Yep.
right there.
Yep.
So even the mayor fucking showed up for this guy. Like, that's wild. Like, this man's, like, he looks like one of those Greco-Roman paintings. And the
Yeah.
internet's just gone bonkers for him. And then they make him look even cooler by giving him this fucking escort. And it's interesting he doesn't have a vest on. Usually when they perp walk somebody, they got a vest on. They don't have one on him. Maybe they know that nobody really plans on shooting him. Or they don't care. I don't know. But how weird is it that Mayor Adams got off his ass for this photo op? That's wild. I find that crazy. I've never.
Well,
have you ever seen a mayor come out and pretty much greet someone
no.
who's accused of shooting someone?
Well, CEOs are our new royalty, so
Right, but the fact that he showed up is wild, though. I mean, they were trying to make him look bad, but they just make him look cooler and cooler. And apparently, a lot of prisons apparently have people who do barber work. So apparently they gave our boy here a taper fade a little bit, cleaned up his haircut, and did up his eyebrows a little bit for him. Well,
Okay.
apparently it's a couple of things. One, apparently it's they love him so much they're sending him off to look his best for New York, which and in the same time it also lets the correctional officers know that we like this guy, we respect this guy, and we're here to protect this guy, which might reduce his chances of the guards hurting him.
yeah, exactly.
And so I like this. It's so weird to see everybody coming together on some weird shit.
Yeah, it is. It is an odd. We've talked a little bit about it. I don't like violence, but at the same time, it makes you wonder: is this what it takes to get their attention? I don't know.
And Mayor Adams looks like he's trying not to smile, and this guy also looks like he's kind of smiling a little bit. That's kind of strange. Like, I don't know. Maybe they have a crush on him. Who knows? But yeah, the old internet's been comparing him to that scene in, what is it, Man of Steel or some shit, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't see the mayor here. Maybe he went off somewhere else. I don't know. But he was at least there for that photo op for a second.
And maybe he was like, "Oh crap, they got my photos. I wasn't supposed to be there."
Yeah, someone apparently found a picture. I knew he looked familiar, but apparently he was arrested in 2017 for drunk driving.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh, damn, because I remember seeing him in Orange, but I don't remember why they were talking about it other than maybe it was just because, someone who's influential got in trouble for that. But when I saw that picture again, I was like, oh, I did see him before. So, yeah, I just thought that was crazy. But, yeah, free Luigi. But, all right, so let's know more about him than the assassinations that went after Trump. That's such a good point. They have dug up more information about him than the people who've taken a shot at Trump.
Mhm.
That's weird. They just disappeared, kind of. Like, that's like the one that was at Mar-a-Lago or whatever.
Yeah. What's
That one
happened
just-
with him?
Yeah, they saw him and he looked a little. How do I say this?
Squirrely.
He seemed like his mannerisms kind of like he had some sugar in his gas tank, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So he had some flounce about him a little bit, and I was like, okay.
I just think it's curious they burned the body of that first one.
I didn't
I don't-
actually know they did that, but damn,
Don't think I'll ever get over that because
that is pretty strange.
yeah.
And yeah, the Mar-a-Lago shooter guy, like he was kind of a weird one. They arrested him, and like I wouldn't be overly surprised if these people were like drugged up and made to do this or something. Like, I don't know. Right? The View was certainly. Yeah, it was a great one.
Well, you all know I'm a big fan of The View and rapidly watch CNN.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll check out. Well, not the View though, but like CNN. Fox
CNN.
News.
I'll still cite them, and I'll still
Yeah, we'll
watch
just
some of their
compare
stuff.
notes and be like, on this article they say this, and on this article they say that. You know, so I do try to get kind of what everybody's talking about.
I one of the things I did was there were 9 lies told about Trump, right? Quote unquote. And I went through and used CNN, MSNBC, Snopes. I used their websites
Right.
and fairly easily proved that 7 of those lies were in fact lies.
Right.
The other 2 I couldn't really prove. Kind of depends on what sites you trust and what your perspective is, whether the other 2 were lies or not. But 7 of them, yeah, they were freaking lies. I believed them 4 years ago.
Right.
And now I'm like, crap. Okay.
I had some distrust, but like as I'm getting older, I'm more and more I'm starting to see like through some of the lies that I'm sitting here like, how did I not see it before? But also like I don't know, I feel like the internet and the people are honing in on more than they used to.
Well,
like, I think it's like
certain
a mass
people
awakening
are,
kind of thing.
but the trouble is, like the people who are all too often labeled as fringe or conspiracy theorists,
Right.
and equated with Alex Jones. And some people are, let's face it.
Oh yeah, some people are a little wild. I try not to sound too crazy in my shit so people don't dismiss me too much like they do Alex Jones.
Right. But anyway, yeah, the last year has been a real eye opener for me.
Always. Yeah, I think sometime like around this time last year, you know, they were saying, you know, that 2024 was going to be the year of awakening and transparency, and people were going to see shit different. And it was certainly not boring, that's for sure.
But we'll see what happens now.
Oh boy. Like it's just going to get weirder. Anyway, we want to send lots of loves and hugs to everybody who came to see us tonight. And of course, hugs to Curtis.
Oh, hugs back. Even though I've got an angry Santa with a hammer. But
it's fine. It's festive.
So have you seen Violent Night?
No.
I think you need to see Violent Night.
Wait. Who's in that?
I may be wrong, but I think the guy from Stranger Things.
Haven't watched it. Yeah, broccoli.
Hey, Frosty Broccoli. Basically, Santa rescues some hostages.
Oh, cool.
But he's very, very diehard about it. There's not a lot of ho, ho, ho.
Wait, is that the one where he's like, he was cursed to be Santa because he was a Viking?
So, yes, because he was a Viking.
Oh, I did see that. Like, okay.
Oh.
He's like, Violent Night Watch Party. You know what? Why not? If I can get it, why not?
Punch it. Yeah. No.
That does kind of ruin it for me a little bit.
I even when I was believing a lot of the lies, I never, and you know, it's okay if you do believe it. It's not my channel, so.
Right.
But I never believed he was a freaking Yahtzee.
No.
He's got issues.
Oh yeah.
And he is not above being
I think
criticized.
At most he's just good old fashioned misogynist and racist a little bit. Like,
well, I even disagree
not
with
anything
that.
extra. Like, I don't think he's going to put people in camps or anything.
Right.
Like, I think he's kind of an old fashioned dickhead. I don't think he's actually like a Yahtzee.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Right.
I'm not going to say he isn't a jerk.
Yeah.
But,
and I'm not even saying he's dumb. Like, you know, I mean, people have their dumb moments, but I don't think in general he's a dumb person.
Right.
He's a Yahtzee. He's definitely not my first pick, obviously. But
I don't even know who I would pick anymore.
I wanted Jill Stein. I feel like that is a lot less catastrophic an easier to manage problem than the other options like Kamala Harris and whoever else.
Well,
Like, that was the
I'm
best.
afraid once you say that the First Amendment is a privilege, you've lost me. There's very little that you can say after that that's gonna. I don't really even know what she could have said that would have brought me around to her camp.
Oh
she said
man,
that.
she coming out and saying I was stupid and I was wrong and I'm sorry would have been a huge one.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
I
you
think
know,
she was partially paid off not to try because she
I
was
wonder
going through that
because
campaign like she wasn't really trying. She was saying everything dumb she could. I mean, she wasn't even kissing the ass of the constituents.
and again, I know I have friends that voted for her and friends that loved her. I don't mean to crap on
I do
them,
want to ask them
but-
why. I want to see if the majority of their answers because it's not Trump, and not
Well,
because they think she actually did useful, but simply because she isn't Trump that they voted for her.
I'm not going to answer for them, but I am going to say this. Maybe I'm just not listening hard enough, but what I generally hear comes across to me as that, we're going to vote for anybody but Trump, anybody.
Right.
And again, I don't want to crap on people that voted for him or for her because, well, I know, but
I'm sorry. I had to be the unreasonable sounding one.
no, that's okay. Yeah.
You sound so reasonable. That's how I'm like, I'll do it.
You play bad cop. I'll be good cop. How's that?
Indeed.
So,
but like a lot of the people like her, most of what I heard is they, unlike Trump, she doesn't do this or this. I'm like, but what has she done though?
yeah.
Yeah. I just don't find even get into those kind of debates, especially on the internet. Can't help it.
Yeah. And I don't mean to piss anyone off, but I have yet to hear anyone. I know there were people enthused about her, and I really did try to listen, at least to some. Like I watched that Nerds and Geeks for Kamala thing, but all it did was irritate the crap out of me. Is all it did.
Oh yeah, yeah. She talking down to people. She was like kind of awful, and she was probably paid off really well because it was happening. Her doing such a half-assed job was happening around the same time that a lot of those talk shows and whatnot were apologizing to Trump for their behavior and trying to get on his good side. So I feel like something behind the scenes was happening.
Oh yeah, but there's so much we just don't know. Anyway, I'll quit yapping about it. There's no. We're where we're at now, and who knows who's right and who knows who's wrong. So
I don't think we were given much of an option for right.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, it's not like we could have picked somebody off the street and say, I think this person will be better. No, it's kind of like, and I've compared to this before, kind of like when you go clothes shopping with somebody, and they pick two of the shirts that they want, and they hold it up and ask you, which one do you choose out of the choices they've pre-selected? Which do you choose? And that's really what voting is.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree it was. There's no way that she was talking down to people like that and thinking they were going to vote for her. No fucking way. She burnt her campaign left, right.
And you are loved, Lady Mist. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
We love you, and we are glad y'all came by. And let me get our little song ready because they've changed it
Yes.
now. It's media assets now, which kind of threw me off. I was like, what the fuck? But thank y'all so much for coming by, and we shall see you as soon as we can have a reason to go live, whether it be crazy ass news or a movie, whatever.
Right on. Love y'all.
Welcome to the ship show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery, 'cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, hey, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder dash pop.